Yeehaw! Come on now. It's the red wave, boys. Ooh-wee. We gonna get Ron DeSantis gonna be our next president.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother. I got me this oversized MAGA hat, but I'll tell you what, man. That Donald Trump is an albatross. I seen that comment.
Yeah.
On conservative subreddit. Donald Trump is an albatross around our neck.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are all domestic terrorists.
That Donald Trump, that boy ain't right.
That boy ain't right.
That boy
I
ain't
tell you
right.
what, man. I've been saying that the whole time. Now they're doing like that.
Ethan, you might not know this because you don't have a Twitter, but the Republicans lost actually, like big time.
Oh shit! Right. Oh.
Yeah, not to.
Yeah, and actually,
not to hurt your feelings, but
I am allowed to lurk Twitter still.
Oh, okay, that's good.
My account is read only. And where's Dan? You look like my 5-month-old when he wears a hat.
I can't. Is the camera on me? I can't see anything.
By the way, thank you to our sponsor today, DoorDash. We love you. We love you. Also, an announcement quickly. The Teddy Fresh Black Friday sales live starting. It just started 15 minutes ago.
Damn.
70% off a lot of shit.
Whoa, very
it's like
nice.
50 to 70% off most fucking things, you guys. It's absolutely
crazy.
Mind-bending
That's
stuff.
crazy.
Yeah, it is. And by the way, also, this shirt's not on sale, but you have till Sunday to buy it. Elon Musk is a piece of shit.
I love that one.
Thanks, bro. And then, actually, finally, we get to plug Hassan's stuff.
I do, yeah. I have some. I normally don't, but this is not one of those instances. Ideology.shop.
Robert Smith? Why the fuck did that just come out of my computer?
I don't know.
What?
Just click
Of The Cure?
on that link.
Robert Smith of The Cure fame?
Yeah, I hit
Love him.
paste, and it was Robert Smith. How is that? What does that even mean? How did that happen?
You're a big Cure fan, man.
Okay, let's try again.
There you go. You did it.
Yeah. Was one of you guys using this computer looking up Cure fandom?
I don't even know what The Cure is.
What the hell?
What?
Yes, so ideology.shop, Hassan's himbo. I'm still waiting for my himbo shit, bro.
Didn't I send you a link?
Yeah, I filled out the questionnaire. I didn't get my shit, bro.
What the fuck? I'll yell at my merch people.
Is your head gonna shrink if you wear this?
No, but your fucking gains will be tremendous.
Okay.
You're gonna at least like 25% increase on your PR, straight up.
Okay.
Don't believe Hassan, Ethan. I got some merch, and this is actually a regular size hat.
Oh no, his head shrunk.
Oh no.
This is awesome. You guys, your people make the coolest fucking.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
that is a really cool gift.
Yeah,
that has no business being that cool. Honestly, I don't
really
even
dope.
I don't even know where the fuck that came from.
Yeah, but anyway, ideology.shop and Hassan's himbo Jim. Well, we got a lot to talk about today.
Oh man, wait, what happened? Something big happened?
Yes. I got banned on Twitter.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna talk about, right? Because I haven't been paying a lot of attention to anything else that's going on, except for the big news that I guess. Well, are you banned off Twitter? Because I remember seeing you tweet something about leftovers, like yesterday.
No, I'm banned.
No, I think you definitely tweeted something.
Yeah, I thought you got unbanned.
You had
too.
an announcement. I thought you got unbanned, and you had an announcement that we were gonna do.
Oh yeah, you're talking about my alt.
Oh, that's your alt.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Ethan H3H3 Producatons. I love that Elon Musk is like, we have to prevent impersonations, and now it's like.
And he clapped your ass cheeks into smithereens.
Yeah,
and now everyone is parodying you.
Yeah, I know. Well, this guy's actually a fan. We know him. I am unfortunately announcing Leftovers is officially ending with peace and love. Hassan, it was a great run, brother. People actually thought it was real a little
Yeah,
bit.
people immediately did the thing, like when Dan was leaving the H3H3 Productions, immediately coming into my chat and being like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Leftovers is over? What the fuck happened? I'm like, what? What is happening?
No, it was just Producatons. Producatons got us again.
Yeah, just production.
But, like, I would be curious to see if Elon, like, bans this account. because he's not disclosing it properly, right, Dan? The disclosure Nazi over here, Dan.
Where is the disclosure supposed to be? Because I remember you disclosed it.
I disclosed it in the header.
In your name.
And in the info. It was not in my name. It wasn't.
Oh, that's where you're supposed to disclose it as a parody?
No, well, apparently you need to disclose it in every fucking place you can possibly write.
Elon Musk is like, if you impersonate me, you have to literally write like this legal text document ahead of time on every facet. Like, this is impersonation, not liable to slander and libel laws, just parody.
Yeah, but
except for that.
It seems that he's only going after accounts that targeting him, which is interesting. But we're not here to talk about that. I've done enough talking about that. I am here to talk about. Actually, I'm here to talk about this.
What?
I forgot. I prepared a segment about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So ever since he's such a fucking idiot, bro.
Who, Elon?
Yeah. He goes, we have to add verification for everybody to stop spam.
Disgusting.
Yeah, that was bullshit. He just basically, look, he just wants to make more money, but he's a fucking idiot, and he's not doing the smart thing to make more money. This is like really short-term gains. Twitter makes money off of daily active users and the data that they sell off of daily active users to advertisers. If your platform's moderation tools are in a state of disarray, advertisers are not going to go to the new fronts and upfronts and immediately sign off to millions and millions of dollars in revenue to Twitter. So he already is cooked on that front because he shook things up. Like, I don't give a fuck if you eviscerate the board of executives, right? But like when you start firing engineers, when you start firing people that are doing the content moderation and whatnot, advertisers are going to be like, well, that's crazy, especially when you're promoting conspiracy theories simultaneously while doing all this stuff. So he's trying to max out on the short term side, and he thinks people will pay for this blue check mark.
Nobody's buying this back from him. Twitter is like a hot potato, bro. Nobody's buying this shit back.
Yeah.
But Rudy, so here's some of the great examples that have been happening in the past 24 hours. A fake Rudy Giuliani account, and what's great is they'll make a new account. And Nancy Pelosi and I do not agree on many things, but them things thangin', I tell you what.
That's the most truthful Rudy Giuliani has ever been.
He's preaching, man. I stand with Kyrie Irving and Kanye West because George Soros once pushed me down in the street and I was stuck on my back like a turtle.
That's crazy that actually happened. This is a verified account. I have no way of understanding.
Dude,
this seems like Rudy Giuliani.
And look, it's similar to his real name.
Yeah.
I am hereby issuing a challenge to Alan Dersh. Street beefs, come get some Dersh. There can only be one dusty old pedophile attorney around these parts.
That's crazy. Congratulations on Rudy for openly admitting that, though. That's bold and brave.
It's nice to see that out in the open. He's going after Helen Keller, who I would admit deserves it. Helen Keller's a dusty, fraudulent bitch pushed on us by globalist media. I couldn't agree more, frankly.
Wow, you're anti Helen Keller.
She has a comment. I mean, well, who cares? You can't talk.
We had a whole
socialist.
arc about this. Yeah.
How do you know?
What do you mean? What? It's like documented.
She couldn't talk and she couldn't see, bro.
She was a socialist.
But how do we even know she understood what the things that was going around her?
You can communicate even if you can't, like.
Wasn't she born deaf and blind? Or is that she became deaf and blind?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just know that she's a socialist. And I think she might have been a eugenicist too, though. So, yeah, canceled again. Never mind.
But,
boom.
It's like with Helen Keller, it's like, you know how with gorillas, you're like, you could teach them sign. And you're like, but do they really know what they're doing? It's the same with Helen Keller.
Absolutely eviscerated by the disability activists for stating this.
Oh, we've been down this road many times before, actually.
You have an anti-Helen Keller crusade? It's like such a weird bone to pick.
That's why it's so funny.
Yeah.
But you know what? How many people are deaf and blind watching the show? Like that's like Helen Keller
only. That doesn't
only,
mean anything.
They wouldn't know. They wouldn't know. They wouldn't be able to watch this show.
I know, but 90% of the time when people are chirping at you, they don't even have that disability. It's just like other people being like, I'm going to be talking on behalf of this community right now.
Say what you will, but I'm against Helen Keller, and I always will be.
It's good. It's good that you pick your battles.
I stand.
What's that? Mother Teresa.
Yeah, Mother Teresa.
She has it coming too.
Actually, it turns out she is actually a really awful person. There's like no. You heard about this, right?
No.
She like tortured. She was like a horrible person. People are discovering.
Not surprising.
Like she was taking care of like lepers and shit. What was she? Or like super sick people, and she wasn't giving them medicine or treating them because she's like, your suffering will bring you closer to God.
You are definitely getting canceled now. You attacked an Albanian woman. It's over.
Oh, and Baliophobia.
It's over.
Yeah. So there's just a lot of this, and then you see. I love this. He says, "What did you think was going to happen?" Ben Shapiro. Matt Walsh won't stop calling me and talking about genitalia.
But that's real though. But that's like a fake account, but that is a real thing that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Matt Walsh cannot shut the fuck up. He's always like, "What is a woman? Please tell me. I need to know. Do you have a pussy or a dick, please?
I need to
Please.
look. I need to look.
Let me take
I
a
don't trust
peek.
you."
Let me take a gander." Like that's Matt Walsh. That's straight up how he is.
Dude, Matt Walsh is the worst person in the world. And he was on Joe Rogan, you know. Joe Rogan did get him pretty good. But
I have not seen it yet.
he got actually pull up a clip. Joe definitely eviscerated him on a couple of points. But ultimately, I think that's an L having that fucking guy.
Yeah,
on.
because he's like, "Dude, I love what you have to say about trans people. It's so sick." All my friends are like, "Damn, dude, what is a woman for real?"
Dude, what's a woman, bro?
Like he shit
Ben-
on him for like gay marriage, right? Like that's it.
Gay marriage. Well, also that which he definitely annihilated him on, but that's like so easy. But the one that I saw was Matt Walsh was like, "There's millions of prepubescent children getting puberty blockers," and Joe's like, "Really? Really?
What the fuck?
And then Jamie's like, "Actually, it's 1,000." It was very. Wait, what the
okay,
fuck?
I'll just say
14
this.
minutes?
I'll
Can
just
you
say
get
this.
more?
I talked about this before on my stream, but I'm soft launching it, but I'm hard launching it eventually. I think people who say like being trans is a mental illness have an unironic, undiagnosed mental illness called what I call turf brain. Like when you got trans on the mind and it gets to a certain point where like it literally, you just live and breathe trans. Like you are thinking about trans people and what they're fucking doing way more than trans people are.
Yeah.
So I think that is the real mental illness.
You know, that's a good point. Matt Walsh, it's like his whole shtick.
Yeah.
He's like obsessed with
He
trans
like wants
people.
to fucking bomb children's hospitals because he's like, there's trans people there.
And the thing is, well, here
They don't want.
So,
If a trans person stubs their fucking toe and they get medical treatment, Matt Walsh is gonna fucking hear about it and he's gonna talk about it on his stream. Okay, he's gonna direct his psychotic zealots to go and send mail bombs there or some shit for the crime of treating a trans person, and that's insane. Like this is gonna tie back into the election a little bit, and this is one of my favorite subjects to talk about now. Is that like they went too far. Okay,
the pubs.
You're crazy.
Yeah.
You're too crazy.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to associate with like that level of crazy.
It's actually so refreshing because I was feeling very bleak, very black-pilled because you see people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who was reelected, Lauren Boebert, who we'll see if she wins or not, but it's so fucking close. They're going to recount it. And a lot of these other super radical MAGA election-denying freaks are getting annihilated. And I think Trump really has become a bad omen for them.
I think they went too far, but it's not Donald Trump, as I always say. It's just the Republican Party. We can talk about it further. Let's watch this real quick. Let's watch this fucking psychopath.
Depends on
second.
what.
Yeah, Matt Walsh is an actual like hateful, bigoted, psychopathic freak.
Yeah, he just looks
Ben
like
Shapiro's
such a
face him.
sweaty pervert too.
He's so disgusting.
He looks like, when I wear these glasses, he looks like me if I got bludgeoned in the face with a shovel and like lost my hairline completely.
Well, you know what they say. I've been absorbing his hairline for years. So.
Yeah, you absorb all of
Fuck
our enemies' hairlines.
And I took a little of yours too.
Yeah, that's kind of fucked
Just
up.
collateral damage.
Please let me get it back, please.
Friendly fire.
I don't think we have exact numbers, but if we're talking about
You
the
destroyed
drugs,
Joe.
I mean,
Joe is annihilated,
Yeah, you
bro.
fucking-
I
you
sucked
ended
his
him.
soul like a goddamn
Yeah.
that
You
Mortal
ended his
Kombat
hairline.
boss.
Shao Kahn?
Yeah, Shao Kahn. Thank you, baby. Thank you.
You're talking about hormone blockers.
yeah,
Millions of
blockers
kids
that-
have been on hormone blockers, really?
I'm sure someone's going to fact check me on that, but my guess is that we're into the millions now at this point. Yeah.
By the way, this clip starts like he had already confidently asserted there's millions of kids on puberty blockers.
And remember,
now he
he's the-
seems a little unsure. Just
He's
'cause-
the
yeah.
foremost authority.
He made
okay?
the documentary, What is a Woman? This guy lives and breathes for this shit.
Surprising that Mr. I know everything about trans people. I have the directory. I have the documents. Is just so oblivious.
100% he watches trans porn
Oh, without a doubt.
for research.
So many of these people are chasers. So many of these people fetishize trans people, and I think like that's where part of that hatred comes from. Is literally like them not being comfortable with that. Within themselves, which is weird.
So
Because
it's
like
their
you'd be
fault.
like a better person if you just gave up.
But he goes, it's their fault that I'm feeling this confused. They shouldn't exist. Anyway.
My guess. I can say for double mastectomies, I read a report recently that
No, you didn't.
there were over 1,000 done between 2016 and 2019.
Okay, he's actually being truthful in that one. 2016 to 2019, 3 years, there was 1,000 double mastectomies in a country of over 300 million people.
That's crazy. They should stop that.
Well, what's that expressed
Yeah.
as a percentage? Like 0.000? Like how fucking
Fucked up.
minuscule is that?
It's fucked up. Also, infinitely higher success rate as far as like happiness in the aftermath of a gender affirming surgery in comparison to plastic surgery in general, which Matt Walsh does not give a shit about. You know, these motherfuckers don't care when their wives are getting bigger boobs, or when Ron
Hair
DeSantis
transplant.
gets liposuction on his neck. Did you see
Did
that?
he do that?
I saw some TikTok about it, and I want to believe it.
That's
I know.
awesome.
I know.
Try to
My
find
rule
that.
of
I
thumb
wanna
is like
see
never
that.
believe anything on TikTok.
Was it a
but
plastic surgeon? Like one of those people?
no, it
Oh,
was
yeah.
some. I don't know. I mean, maybe he looked like the dude who was talking was like. He looked like Giga Chad a little bit, so I was like, that made it more
Probably,
suspicious for me.
But anyway, let's work through this. We got so much to get to. Matt, just fucking say your shit and let's move the fuck on, you freak ass.
I can't
bitch.
tell if you're talking to Matt or me right now.
No, I'm
'cause I
talking
keep
to Matt. I'm
pausing.
talking to Matt. I'm talking to Matt. Love you.
And when you compare that to how many were done between 2008 and 2015, it's a massive increase. And
It's so. I'm sorry, but it's like, yeah, bro. It's becoming more accepted. Stop. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Same thing
well,
happened.
I
with
mean,
being
that's
gay.
the whole shtick.
Stupid. You
That's the
know
reason-
that though. You're such an
Yeah.
idiot.
That's why he's relevant. Like that's the whole shtick is that he wants to stop it being normalized.
Stop it. We need to flatten the curve again. Actually, he wants to go back to reducing the amount of gay people. Anyways,
over 1,000 girls had gender affirming double mastectomies in that time frame.
And when you
But
say
that's-
girls,
that's-
you're talking about prepubescent?
right, minors, and that's just up until 2019, and then we know that there's been this exponential increase with all this stuff year over year. So it's
just imagine dedicating your whole life to something that happened 1,000 times over 3 years.
Well, I mean, it's the same old shtick. Like even the Utah governor was like, "Come on, guys, like we need to." Remember when the governor of Utah was like, "I'm not passing this fucking bill." There was in the history of Utah, there was one trans 12-year-old who attended a fucking swim meet, and you guys passed through the state legislature a bill banning trans people. Like, the fuck are you doing?
No, it's
and that's usually what it is. That's usually what it is. It's literally like maybe one trans girl that is like attended a swim meet in 1997, and these guys are like, yeah, we gotta make sure they're all dead.
Yo, this guy's based, bro. That's
No,
kind
he's
of,
not. Come on.
No, but like this is kind of dope
on,
that he stood up to this, bro.
I mean, it's nice that
I
he did
applaud
that, but like, don't come on, bro. He's the Utah governor.
This was a
like,
based move on his part.
you're out here fucking.
I really appreciate when I see people.
Oh, you found it. Abe Gurko won't be silent. Look at the TikTok on Discord.
Wait, hold on.
That's
Let's
the guy.
finish this vid. I can't. There's too much jumping around.
it's a lot. It's too many. Having this happen to one kid.
Too many. Just one is.
Yeah. Look, if you're an
Just
adult
one
and you
makes
wanna
what
do
I'm
that,
doing
and
worthwhile.
You understand who you are and what you are, and this is how you feel you should progress. You're an adult. This is a free country. You should be able to do whatever you want. But when you're talking,
What if you're a 6-year-old and you're suicidal, and that's the only way to
By the way,
to prevent you?
I
from-
mean, These guys are so funny because like they make it seem like there's some titty doctor out there who's like, oh yeah, 16-year-old, come in, chop chop. Like
the
no.
titty butcher.
Yeah, there's like, first of all, there's a tremendous amount of paperwork that you go through.
Yeah.
There's like medical evaluations, psych evaluations
Yes.
for adults. That is like doubled, tripled, quadrupled when it comes down to minors.
It's not allowed in
parental
minors
consent.
except in like the most extreme.
Yeah, there's parental
Almost never
consent.
happens.
There's like multiple avenues that you need to go down, and there's no bottom surgery whatsoever, only top. And even then, it's like super low numbers, and you can't do it for anyone under the age of 16 anyway. It's like 16 to 18 is what they are freaking out about.
I think there's more people getting struck by lightning than who are getting double mastectomies
probably
under 18.
Yeah, because like the number of trans
Like how many people are getting struck by lightning in America on a yearly basis? Genuinely.
The number of trans people is already low, right? I mean,
Like
it's probably
1% or
higher than we think because because of shitheads like Matt Walsh. But this is
Oh wait,
this
that's
is never going to be like this major mainstream thing. Like you're just hyper focusing on some of the most marginalized people in society because you're a fucking
making
freak.
their life like way
You're
harder.
a freak loser.
Yo, check this out. So in 2021, there was basically 80 lightning strikes recorded. So I mean, we're talking about 300 a year of double mastectomy. So it's pretty close. It's pretty close. I think we need to do something about all these lightning strikes, bro.
No, we need to work on the lightning.
I want to intervene on that shit.
Lightning needs to start striking twice, motherfucker. What is this? Only 70, 80? Get those numbers up, Lightning.
I propose that we need to install metal poles every 100 yards across the whole country.
Come on, bro.
Jump scare warning.
Jesus.
All right, we're almost
Christ.
made it through one fucking clip.
About doing that to children, the fact that so many people are on board and so many people are angry. If you have people are going to be angry at us that we're having these conversations.
Yeah.
But don't you? You know that's not that you're having the conversation. That's not why people are mad. You fuck. You idiot.
Yeah, the conversation revolves around the doxing of trans individuals and also,
lying,
instructions on how to send a letter bomb to children's hospitals in Boston. That's just a conversation. Yeah, they don't do that, but
I mean, it's like having Hitler on, being like, or even Kanye West at this point, and being like, "Yeah, that's interesting what you're saying about the Jews. Let me see that red list again."
Now
they're gonna get angry that we're even discussing this.
I actually think that
now what?
That this shouldn't be happening to.
Here it is. It doesn't go sideways for him.
It's a very small number, if that's right.
It says over the last 5 years, there were at least 4,780 adolescents who started puberty blockers and had a prior gender dysphoria diagnosis.
Wait, that's gender. No, that's puberty blockers.
He said there was millions.
That's not even fucking mastectomies.
No,
double mastectomies.
He said there's millions of people. So here.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
That would be a big undercounting.
Less than 1,000 people a year.
Yeah.
We got him.
Yeah, I mean, I would guess hundreds of thousands at this, but I could be wrong.
You could be wrong. You're the expert,
bro. What is it? Yo,
it sounds great.
Motherfucker should have asked, what is Google, bro? What is this?
You know what? Joe Rogan's a little fucking bitch for not making that a bigger deal, right? Like he let him off the hook.
Look at his face.
So
no. He
easy.
likes it though. He's like, yeah, I
know, but he let
I
him
got
off.
you.
But the obvious follow up is you are the expert. You made a documentary. How do you not know that it
depends on what?
Yeah, which he hyped, by the way. He was like, all of my friends love this documentary. They're always asking, what is a woman? It's like, you're a bitch, dude. You're a bitch, okay? It's just a self-report when you're like, all of my friends are like, what is a woman? Guess what, motherfucker? If all of your friends are asking, what is a woman, then you're probably going to be one of those people that thinks there's going to be a major fucking red wave, okay?
Red wave is coming.
That's the reason why he was like, oh, the red wave is coming. It's going to be like The Shining. Why? Because these guys have lost their minds. They're like, everyone's a gender sicko. Kids are fucking shitting and pissing in litter boxes.
Yeah.
At a certain point, when your brain is so fucking broken by watching Matt Walsh and watching all these fucking conservative freaks that the Norman adults in the suburbs and shit who are probably way more open-minded to LGBT stuff given their proximity. You know what I mean? Because there's always going to be within the Gen Z, within the next generation, there's gay kids, there's trans kids. You know what I mean? They're a lot more open. to that sort of thing. So you're always going to have at least like one parent at the parent-teachers conference who's like, no, my kid is gay or my kid is trans. Like, shut the fuck up. That makes them infinitely more open-minded and not as hostile towards trans things as these guys are. So that's one element of it. And then the other side is like, you're constantly saying like these guys are pedophiles, pedophile groomers. Like, well, you run into the anti-pedophile, like the pedo hunters. You run into the pedo hunters dynamic there, where like they're kind of weird too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about?
The guy who busted EDP is like a fucking super weirdo.
Yeah, it's like, yo, you're like really invested in this. Like it's kind of weird. Like you're constantly talking about pedophiles and shit. Like nobody wants to be around.
I live and breathe pedophilia.
Yeah, nobody wants to be around someone who is like insanely cringe, lost the plot, sounds like the crazy person at the fucking subway station, regularly chirping about like trans people or how like all the teachers are fucking pedophile groomers. You know?
You know
That's
what?
happens.
If you don't know what a woman is, just say the only correct answer. Just say, "Hey, I just got here." You see that?
Yeah.
That clip?
Exactly.
My fave. Anyway, let's watch. Something important to talk about, Hassan. Did Ron DeSantis get neck fupa reduction?
Trying to tell me that Rhonda Santis didn't have lipo before her big performance last night. That was a couple weeks ago. That was last night. She got that next.
I mean, okay. That could just be unflattering, but
Yeah.
I mean, that's a
I just
want to
believe, man. It's fun. It's fun to fucking believe in fake shit.
Would that
I
be
realize
considered
that.
gender? I guess it's not gender affirming. It's just
No, it is. It is gender.
Define jawline?
W- 100%.
Absolutely.
Oh, it is,
It's a masculine
right.
thing.
Elon Musk getting hairline surgery, that's gender affirming. 100%. Joe Rogan being on TRT, it's literally hormone replacement therapy. Like, that is the most mind-boggling thing. Is like, I learned about TRT from Joe Rogan. I'm an old Joe Rogan head. I even have the fucking mug. I've been listening to this dude talk about divorce court for like fucking 15 years now, okay?
it's not fair, right?
Yeah, he is the biggest advocate for TRT. He got me invested in potentially getting on TRT when I'm like 35 and my T levels start declining, right? And this motherfucker has made the tail end of his career shitting on other people that want to get TRT or HRT in general. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, he doesn't see it. So there's one more thing before, obviously, we're going to talk about the midterms. That's the main thrust of the episode here, and there's lots of good stuff to get to. Maybe we should just get to it because we're going to run out of time.
See if this
Nick
last guy,
Adams
I mean, he's
is
a
so
troll,
funny.
but like,
Is he a troll? I wasn't.
I mean, no, he's a fucking idiot.
Let me
Like,
just open this one video. Let's just, because this guy, apparently, he's a serious person.
we're never getting to the fucking
He's
midterm.
this guy, Nick Adams, he's a serious person. And I asked you, Dan, like 20, I was like, this is not a joke. This is real. Is this real, Hassan, or is he kidding?
I can't tell because he's so brain broken, man.
Yeah.
It can go either way, you know what I mean? I feel like he leans into it a little bit, though.
This guy, he's a conservative commentary guy, and he's obsessed with Hooters. Really obsessed.
Oh, he's obsessed with a lot of shit. He's PFD commenter's favorite character on Twitter, too.
Well,
Shout out to
he's
PFD.
got an important message with peace and love.
Breasts.
G'day guys, Nick Adams here. A word about Hooters. Hooters is a wonderful family establishment. And I, for one, am absolutely sick and tired of it being defamed,
Wait, stop.
derided.
No.
He does. This is
Don't you
fake.
defame.
The accent is fake, right?
No, he's Aussie.
Oh, he's an Aussie.
What?
Yeah, he's an Aussie.
This entire time he was Australian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
he
Yo,
lived in America,
motherfucker
but
has
he's-
USA on his name.
Yep.
Bro,
Well,
I
he
never
lived-
listened
I
to him
think he-
talk. I've only
yeah.
read his tweets, and every time I read his tweets, I'm doing like in my head, I'm assuming he's like one of those like sausage men. You know what I mean? He just sounds so like Midwestern or some shit.
Right, no, but he's an Aussie. He's a down under. Down under, we like respect titties.
He looks he's one of those guys. He's like a Marabou, kind of like Ian
Yeah.
Miles Wrong.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, you're in Malaysia. You're like, shut the fuck up. Talk about Malaysian news.
He's the worst.
Traduced and mocked, used as a tool to stop men being men, used as a tool to to stop there being.
Bro, he's gonna
alpha
break me when I
males
find out he's got
in
some Turk
our
in him or something,
society.
because he looks kind of Turkish too.
This,
There's a lot of Turks in Australia.
This attack on Hooters will not stand.
Oh my god.
It's an attack on masculine. I've never thought about Hooters, for the record, bro. Like, I don't think about Hooters. If you take your kids to Hooters, it's a little fucking weird, though, bro. I'm just gonna be. I'm not running to Hooters.
I loved it when I was a kid. I'll be honest.
Did you go to Hooters?
It's fucking
Who took
fire.
you there? Bitch.
I'm not gonna reveal any names.
Chink.
I'm not gonna reveal any
You took
names.
your ass to Hooters.
But it was sick.
I mean, okay.
It was dope. I was like
I'm not-
14. It was fire.
Okay, all right. I'm not. Okay, well, man, I'm happy for you.
Breasts. Hooters.
Like, I wouldn't make it a policy, though. I'm not like, you have to take your children there, or, you know, whatever.
It's not that bad, even. Like, it's not. They just wear like tight shirts.
Yeah.
It's not even. It's real.
Yeah.
It's not revealing at all.
No, it's.
I guess they just hire
Well, and they're,
pretty
and
waitresses.
they're shorts too. Yeah, I mean, it's just a normal
shorts are
restaurant with
not.
skimpy
Listen,
uniforms.
in the
basically.
age of OnlyFans, like, the Hooters is not even a question. Like,
Yeah.
no one is thinking like, oh man, I'm gonna get my rocks off at Hooters. Like, I used to jerk off analog. You know what I mean? I needed a
Yeah.
fucking magazine.
Yeah.
Like, I'm old.
Bro, I'm
Back
older
then,
than you.
Hooters titties was like all you got.
Dude, we used to have to go get like the 25-cent
We're so
nudie
old.
mag.
Bro, we're
and
so
you know
old.
what we really had to do? We heard there was a nudie mag in the fucking river bottom, and we had to go hike around and find it.
yes!
And we did find it.
Yes, dude. That's like levels of horny that you can't imagine. By the way, we sound so old. We're like,
So
I used to walk up the
I
hill
did.
both sides for 3 miles to find a titty pic.
I did, bro.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Kids these days don't know. They don't know. I drew my own titties to jerk off to.
See, that I never.
That's like
that's pretty
depraved,
depraved.
okay?
That is.
I had to
depraved.
draw my own hentai.
Are you a good artist? Because I never
Yeah.
was good enough.
I was, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I learned how to draw women. Like, I could only draw like dudes, and then I was like, I need to learn how to draw women
You need
because
some
like
titties.
I'm in a drought. There's nothing to jerk off to.
I've heard of other people doing that, but I don't think.
So yeah, in that day and age, like, you know, seeing a Hooters waitress, like, that kept me going for like months. You know what I mean? I banked that. You know what I mean?
there
It's
was a
memory
time
bank.
when that was an important service.
Yes.
I see.
Now, who cares? Like, that's crazy.
I did scrambled cable porn too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, of
And
course.
that was desperate times.
Yeah,
bro.
of
That
course.
scrambled porn.
Of
was
course,
just,
you have to time it. You have to
so
time
bad.
it too, like when your parents are away. You know what I mean? So like, you don't know when they're gonna come back from dinner. So you have to do like it's you know, it's one of
Like
those.
this. You're like, was that a titty or an elbow?
You're like You're standing right in front of the television like this.
Should I finish? Is that an elbow or
Yeah.
is it a bald head? Is it a
You
titty?
can't get caught. Like, I had. Oh my God. I had the move set like ready. You know what I mean? Immediately like. Flip
Yeah,
the
yeah.
waistband back up.
You have to have a
hit the
plan.
fucking TV like to Nickelodeon or whatever.
Yeah. You need a
from
plan.
6 to midnight.
You need an escape plan
Yeah.
always, bro.
Like, God forbid you hear that key turning. Oh my God, dude, it's over.
You ever been caught?
Fuck yeah.
Really? See, oh my God.
Yeah. I got
By
caught
who?
by. So I mean, this is real like affluent child behavior, but we had an au pair
What the fuck?
when I was in Turkey. It's
What?
like a fancy way to say like a live-in babysitter.
Was your family rich in Turkey?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they lost all their money by the time I was 18, but they were, my family was very wealthy.
Wait,
when we were
where'd
growing
their
up.
money come from?
What?
Where'd their money come from?
My dad was the coordinator to like one of the largest holding groups in the country. It's a big firm. He's like a mega firm. Anyway,
What's a holding company?
holding group is just like, it's basically like an umbrella corporation that owns a bunch of other gigantic corporations.
Okay, so he was a big corporate.
He's like a big
guy.
shot corporate guy.
How do you lose his money?
Futures trading, I think.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Dude, I have a friend with a Lebanese dad who also lost his entire family's
Yeah.
fortune to the same fucking thing. Is that
Yeah.
a thing that happens?
Well, I mean, I guess it's we were that's the Uyghur and Piker family curse. Like every single one of my every generation, like my grandfather on my father's side, super wealthy, spends all the money, retires by like 30, spends all of his money this entire life. So by the time my father was by the time my father went to college, They didn't have a lot of money. He made a lot of money again, lost it all by the time I went to college.
Fuck. He basically gambled it all away, is
Yeah.
what it means.
Yeah.
You pissed at him for that? Was
No.
Was there problems in the family?
No, I don't give a fuck. No,
Was the
I had
family mad at him?
I had an incredibly fortunate, incredibly privileged.
Yeah, I don't need
upbringing.
disclaimers. I just want to know what actually happened. Were you?
No, I'm not. But this is something I talk about quite frequently. Like and it's important to my worldview too. It's like, why would I be mad at them? They already gave me the fucking major boost ahead of time. You know what I mean? Like
Was
best
the family
education.
pissed at him for losing all the money?
No, it's his money. He made it. He
Really?
lost it. Whatever.
Shit, that's crazy.
I've never cared about that.
Has he ever been on Wall Street Bets, the subreddit? He'd fit
No.
right in there.
No, this was in Turkey.
He should post his losses, bro. They'd love that shit.
Yeah, no, this was in Turkey. But wait, what the fuck was it? What were we talking about?
Where-
Oh yeah, I got caught by my au pair,
Okay, that's not as bad
and
as like
she's
your
like
mom.
younger too. She was like younger.
Yeah. Is
Um,
she pretty?
Yeah, I thought so.
Oh fuck.
That
What did she do?
was formative.
How old were you?
Oh. And
Oh.
then she ran away. Like she opened the door, and I was like, no.
So it's not like in the porn.
What?
She wasn't like.
No,
"You
it
want a
wasn't
hand
like
with
in the
that?"
porn at all.
Just make it.
I
Just
mean,
checking.
It
just
was
checking.
like it was a moment where like it was terrifying for me, but then like that moment definitely fed me a little bit.
Oh my god.
I have the great luxury.
You were ahead of the
of
curve on
coming-
the au pair
On the au
porn.
pair shit, yeah.
Wait,
I mean,
so
dude, I was
wait,
like-
how old
I
were
was
you?
Fucking, I don't know. I was like 14, maybe
14.
younger probably, even younger than 14, like 12, 13. I don't know.
And when you next saw her, it was what you guys just kind of never acknowledged it. I mean,
Yeah.
what do you say about it?
Never.
Yeah.
Never talked about it.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean? I'm 12. What am I gonna do? We need to talk about. What
Yeah. No, I don't know. Maybe she say something like, "Please lock your door next time" or something. I don't know.
I can't. What do you mean? You think I wouldn't lock my
always.
door if I had the option?
No lock.
No, we're not American, man. They don't let
What?
Turkish children. There's no door locking.
The
Let's get
fuck?
out of here. Let's
Yeah.
go. Let's go have lunch.
Well, that's why you have the lock. I just don't want to see my kid jerking off. That's why the
I
lock's there.
understand.
You know what I mean?
understand that.
The
but
lock protects both of us.
I did not have that luxury. Okay, I did not have
So
that
you had
luxury.
you had
I
some
also didn't have-
luxuries, but and some not.
I also didn't have. We had a family computer that was downstairs in the fucking living room.
yeah.
So that sucked too.
Yeah.
So I didn't even have the luxury of that until high school.
Yeah, I know that pain.
Yeah, and
Jerk
we didn't
off
have like
Donnie?
mobile phones that you could just like immediately pull porn on, right?
Um,
Kids these days don't know. They don't know.
the one time I got caught was actually I was so young, dude. I must have been like,
Oh, so you did get caught?
but the story is kind of funny. I don't know. I may have told this once on the show before. I think I was like 8. Like I think I had just. I started like humping the bed and figuring out that felt good. So one time I stole one of my dad's Playboys and I was humping the bed and I fell asleep. And then I woke up and my mom was in the room just like fixing up. I was there. My pants were at my ankles.
You had it covers
And I was
over
passed
you. Though.
out,
You had the
face down.
covers over you?
No, I was out in the open.
Fuck, baby.
And I
How
woke
far
up
were
and
you
my mom
going?
is there just like
You
fixing
didn't realize
papers
what
and
was
shit.
going on?
How do you not? I mean, I was maybe she didn't. Maybe I was too young. She would think that maybe.
That's crazy.
But like, she was just there like cleaning up and sorting shit, and I was like, what the fuck? I think there was someone else in there too. I forget who.
No.
I was
So
just
glad
like,
we've
whoa.
covered the midterms extensively so far. On the most slammed midterms focused episode, we're talking about jerk off stories from our childhood.
Yeah, fuck it. They all know what happened. All right, fuck yeah. I'm not listening to this Hooters guys anymore. Let's get into it. Oh yeah, we got to do a break and then we'll get into and then we'll get into the midterm.
Oh my God! Yeah, speaking
Politics
of jerking
is
off,
important. Well, thank you to DoorDash, by the way, who we love. I love DoorDash, man. They keep my ass fed, boy. Yes, yes, sir. Mm-hmm. You got it. Back-to-back meetings, errands to run, and chores to take care of. What's the secret to clearing your to-do list? It's a little help from DoorDash. You can get dinner, household essentials, and everything on your grocery list delivered. Along with the restaurants you love, you can now get groceries and other essential items delivered with DoorDash. Get drinks, snacks, and other household items in under an hour. I love doing that.
What?
Sometimes you forget an ingredient, and everyone's like, "What are we gonna do?" And it's like, "I got it, DoorDash." Sour.
That's
cream.
my move. If I go to like a party, every party can be spiced up with some burgers.
Oh, really? You
Yeah.
bring burgers wherever you go?
I'll just go and I'll order so much food.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
DoorDash, burgers,
Yeah.
pizza, and it's like you're the king now, dude.
Immediately. If you have the financial security to do so,
Yeah.
do it. People will remember that.
Oh yeah. Every time you place an order for pickup or delivery, you're setting off a chain reaction that helps give back to the people who make your neighborhood great. Okay, people helping people. Yeah. With over 300,000 partners, you can support your neighborhood go-tos or choose from your favorite national chains like Popeyes, Chipotle, Cheesecake Factory. And with DoorDash, you're not just getting the things you love, but supporting the community you love too. That's nice. That's a beautiful message, huh? That's a wonderful. Joe's Taco Shack just put his kid through college.
What is this?
Mario's Pizzeria just fucking paid for his electricity bill. I don't know what that is. Some kind of.
It's a cable concealer. Or
Yeah, put it
cable
away.
tie.
It's supposed to be concealed.
Tiny little ball gag.
And listen to this. From the stores and restaurants to the Dasher drivers going around, each purchase provides a new opportunity for everyone involved because DoorDash, there's a neighborhood of good in every order. Also, you can get shit.
For a limited time, our listeners can get up to 50% off, up to a $20 value and 0 delivery fees when you download the DoorDash app and enter the code leftovers.
That's actually an insane offer. That's just 20 free bucks.
Yeah, that's 50% off, up to a $20 value and $0 in delivery fees when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and enter the code leftovers. Don't forget, that's code leftovers for up to 50% off and up to a $20 value and 0 delivery fees with DoorDash. Subject to change. Terms apply.
Thank you, DoorDash. I love DoorDash. That's good, man. Love them. That's free money, guys. Free money. Money. Are you a fan of Yilong Ma?
Oh, this is my favorite.
Yilong Ma.
Yilong Ma. He's my favorite.
Oh, he's going to call him the show. We got a hold of him.
No.
And he speaks only Mandarin. Like it's all real.
Yeah.
So Zach reached out to him, and he wrote him back in Mandarin. Zach had to translate it, so we're working on finding a Mandarin translator.
Dude, what
so we can have a call with
Wait,
Yilong Ma. We got a couple. Okay, good.
Oh, that's so.
There's a little bit.
There's a new arc.
There's a little bit of an update that I think you'll actually find quite interesting with all that. Ethan.
Tell me.
He wants us to pay him.
How much?
Well, I keep asking him.
Yilong Ma, money.
He's literally doing the money thing to us.
Yeah, he's cake. He does. Yeah,
So
give me money.
He put me in touch with. It translated to his broker.
What? Ain't nobody broken him.
I've been talking to his manager or whatever the fuck.
I think it probably means manager. Yeah.
So he wants to be paid.
Tell me how much, bro. I'll cough it up for Yilong Ma.
I asked him like 5 times, how much do you want? He's like, present me offer.
He's a very.
He's playing hardball.
Yeah.
He also said something to the effect of, "You need me more than I need you."
I need you so bad.
God, he's such a better businessman than Elon Musk.
It's true. It's true.
Yo,
it's crazy.
This is awesome. These guys are playing so hardball.
They are.
So maybe we just be like, yo, I'm very sorry. You're so right. We're desperate. I don't know. $100. I don't know. I don't really think it's worth more than that.
Okay.
Like
That's crazy. I would pay.
How do you put a price on that? I don't know.
I'm not paying him $1,000 for fucking 5 minutes. Oh.
So $100. That's what.
Maybe I'd pay more. Let's start the negotiations there and see.
Okay. Okay, I'll mess.
How much is that, and what's the currency in China?
This man is a titan of industry.
Yeah.
He's a
Money.
giant. Dude, I love him. I love him so much.
Wait, what's the Chinese currency? I don't even know.
It's like yuan, I believe.
Yeah, so I'll tell him in yuans, bro. 1,000 or 100.
Well, he was asking USD.
No, yen is Japan.
Yeah.
Unless they also call it Chinese.
Wait, how do you spell yuan?
Yeah, it is yuan. UYAN.
Dude, that's 718 fucking yuans, bro.
Okay, I will.
What are you on if you say no?
Oh,
I think
nice.
He's worth more. He's a king.
We're starting negotiations. I'm doing business, bro. He's playing hardball with me. We're going to do a little negotiating.
Yeah.
Okay, I will message him back.
I love that he said you need me more than I need.
That's so fucking funny.
He's right.
He doesn't even know like what he's calling into or what it is. It could just be like
and I've been having to talk to this guy.
What's gonna happen? He's gonna get canceled in fucking whatever region he lives in.
No, it's just funny. For all he knows, it could just be like some like 2 listener like.
Look at this
podcast.
message. Show your sincerity and say how much you can pay. We are no short of traffic. We don't need you to help us. We need you to bring quotation. And then he said a Pepe emoji.
He said Pepe emoji?
No!
Yo, that's fire. What kind of Pepe emoji?
It was like the half-ass smile, and it's
the smirk.
Yeah, the smirk, where it's like fingers like right.
Wow.
So here, offer him 1,000 yuan. How much is that? 1,000.
1,000 yuan is
USD.
You want to know? You want to
140 bucks.
140
okay,
bucks.
I'll say it. You want to know the truth?
Yeah.
Yilong Ma is the reason why Elon bought Twitter, so we could finally destroy. Like it's like a Highlander, right? Like he's the real. Elon Ma is the real one,
right?
And Elon is the fake one, and he is working actively to destroy him, and that's why he's like going hard after impersonators.
It could be. I mean,
Yeah, that's why you got banned because of Yilong Ma.
Yilong Ma, money. By the way, Black Friday sales up. Thank you, TeddyFresh.com. Yeah, we got to
segue.
We need to make some money so we can pay
Yeah,
Yilong Ma.
I'm about to going to the Yilong Ma fund.
I'm about to shill out 1,000 yuan. All right, let's talk. Let's talk shop.
Yeah.
We only have an hour left, though.
Yeah. Let's get into it.
So first of all, the one thing I noticed that I want to get your take on, and I love this, it's so refreshing and it's so nice. Very, very, very little talk about rigged elections.
Yeah.
And that's so nice because, you know, that's kind of the expectation these days.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen. What's your take on that?
I think one of the things that happened is Pennsylvania started immediately tabulating early votes, like the mail-in ballots, like the day of, which they originally stated they were not going to do, which was going to create what is known as the red mirage, right? And we were gearing up for that. The media was gearing up for that. Everyone was like, listen, we need to communicate this to you. Like, even the Republicans actually engaged in this on the other side, where they were like, yeah, it's going to be real strange when the Republicans are winning at night and then the, tide turns around. If that happens, like, remember, there's cheating. And that didn't happen. It was a back and forth. It was neck and neck in many races. And by the end of the night, it looked like Democrats were winning in a lot of places where they were not. A lot of places that were supposed to be contested. So for that reason, they tried it a little bit in Arizona and Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, they ran out of paper. And in Arizona,
how the fuck you run out of paper?
I don't know.
That's some dumb shit.
But in Arizona,
no more ballots, people. Go home.
In Arizona, in Maricopa County, there were some issues with one of the processors that was just spitting out 75% of the ballots back, only reading 25%.
Okay,
so they were like, please use ballot drop-off box number 3. And then because these guys are, especially in Arizona, the conservatives are so geared, they made it like a fundamental plank of their campaigning that the elections were stolen because of these inconsistencies and stuff like that, even though there were no inconsistencies. A lot of these guys were terrified and they cooked themselves. They ended up hurting themselves. It ended up working as voter suppression for their own base of voters.
Yeah.
It literally backfired in a dramatic way. So other than those 2 instances, we haven't really heard too much. Nevada is still going to probably be an issue. There's going to be, there's always problems with Nevada in tabulation and whatnot. It takes a long time. Same with Arizona. It's just a lot of these like desert country. They just don't know how to count. The heat just, wrecks people's brains, I think.
Yeah.
They just have a really hard time with counting. So we'll see what happens there. But overall, I think it was because they were ready for a massive wipeout, which is understandable.
So, but wouldn't they want to scream foul play since they didn't get what they wanted? But I think what you're saying, there was less red mirage, which is kind of gives them the optics.
Yeah. There was less red mirage, and right now they are too busy trying to comprehend exactly how this gigantic fuck-up happened for the Republican Party, looking to pick up 60 seats in the House, barely winning the majority. We don't even know.
They may not even. I was hearing
which
today.
is insane.
Did
like,
you hear
might
that,
come
Dan?
down
They might not
tomorrow
even
and
get the
vote.
House. There's like a chance.
Yeah, I think most of the predictions are still leaning Republican, right? But it's not.
It's not even.
It's not impossible for them to fall short. Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's not just crazy because Republicans are really doing well or whatever. This is historic. And the reason why it's historic is, if I put my wonk hat on for a second, every single time there's a president that is like below 50% approval rating, in the midterms, he's going to get shafted. His party is going to get shafted. Americans use the midterms, the ones that actually end up going out and voting in the midterms, use it as an opportunity to say, we don't like what you're doing. And if your performance indicates that, people are not too happy with it, as Joe Biden's performance and his approval rating, after it, boosted a little bit, was still resembling the Donald Trump approval rating in the 2018 midterms, you're slated to lose, 60 plus seats. That's normal.
Yeah.
Then on top of that, there's 8% inflation. The cost of living is a crisis. A lot of people are losing their minds over it in an understandable fashion.
Side note.
The economy's looking bad. Impossible. It looked like an impossible win for any president. Doesn't matter if it was Joe Biden. Doesn't matter if it was Donald Trump. Doesn't matter if it was Barack Obama. Any president in that circumstance, regardless of how many great things they may or may not have done, they're going to get destroyed.
Apparently, it was the best turnout for an incumbent president in decades.
Yeah.
So I think it's encouraging. I hope that we see less of this rigged election shit, which is just scary and fucked up. And I think I'm proud of Americans because they rejected that. And what's funny is we learned that the strategy is actually self-defeating because your fucking fans lose faith in the institution or your, voters, and then they don't end up fucking voting.
Even if they don't lose faith in the institutions, if your goal is to get everybody to vote on the day of, well, you're advocating for voter suppression for your own fan base because, like, ultimately, it's significantly easier to vote and drop off your, mailed-in ballot.
When voting is easier, more people vote.
Yes.
Period.
Absolutely. Which is something that the Republicans truly understand. That's precisely why, for a very long time, they were against mail-in voting. That's why Donald Trump was against it. And I think that the COVID-era amenities, it's weird to consider that an amenity. It's just like something that should happen anyway. Was truly beneficial for the democratization process, if we want to call it that. More people voting, more people participating in elections. I think that was a big component. Obviously, the fact that they overstepped their boundaries on abortion.
Yeah.
That backfired on them in a dramatic way, in an understandable way. Any state where, like, abortion was on the ballot, like Michigan,
annihilated.
Wipeouts.
Yeah.
Why? They knew that this was going to happen. They knew this because they knew it was happening in Kansas. It happened in Kansas before in the midterms. It happened in Kansas. So they desperately, the Republican Party was desperately trying to get the constitutional, like, abortion protections off of every ballot they possibly could.
Right.
But they failed in Michigan, and, that drew a lot of people to go out and vote.
Right.
Because people are going to vote for something, ultimately.
It's so nice, honestly. I was expecting to just get annihilated, to lose House and Senate, and just live in another fucking dark age, But
Well,
it's
we're
not
still
what
in the
happened.
dark ages. We're not out of it.
It's encouraging, though. It is nice to see, actually, some good news coming out of this. And people also rejected the Stop the Steal people, all the candidates, most of them, all the MAGA-endorsed candidates. I mean, Trump took a fat fucking L, dude.
Yeah.
And you're seeing it already. We have a whole section in here of Republicans turning on Trump. They're saying it's time to move past Trump.
Here's the issue. This is not a Donald Trump issue. This is a Republican Party issue. Here's why. The Republican Party cannot run on Republican policies, especially now. Why? Because Republican policies are anti-populist, they're technical, and they're anti-working class, right? So they can't show their open disdain for the working class when they have basically presented themselves as the working class party. But there's only two methods in America to present yourself as working class, and this is pretty universal too at this point. They do this in the UK as well. Boris Johnson was very effective with this. You're racist, and it's racist to be working class, and the working class just means white working class, and the more racist, the more conservative you are socially, the more working class you are. This is like in the air. A lot of people, for some weird reason, genuinely hold on to this narrative, okay? They think that this is the truth. It's obviously not the truth. The working class is unique. It's diverse. There's, black people in the working class. There are women in the working class. There are LGBT people in the working class, yada, yada, disabled people. And then the second way that you could present yourself as working class is by left-wing economic populist messaging. But that is antithetical to the Republican Party's messaging because the Republican Party wants to deregulate and they want to make they want to add tax cuts.
Seems
and
like
they want to cut
do
Social
the
Security.
Immigration fear. They're like,
Yeah.
we're trying to save your jobs, people.
So
immigrants were taking your jobs.
So this is, like I said, they're, in my assessment, the Republican Party is suffering from its success.
Right.
Because they have been so powerful on wedge issues, on the social conservatism side, and because they've actually allowed the white evangelical base to taste the fruits of their labor in the form of, overturning Roe v. Wade, they now can't use that as a weapon.
Well, yeah, exactly. The abortion issue they used to use to drive people to the
Yeah,
poll.
they can't
and
use
now, as that's gone, and now it's actually in the Democrats' position where people are going to the poll to legalize abortion. So they took a fat fucking L in terms of voter motivation there.
There is no confusion there anymore. Maybe you could hide behind like bureaucracy or trap laws or whatever the fuck you wanted while simultaneously offering the white evangelicals in the South a very active, participating voter base within the Republican Party. You could offer them something by curbing abortion rights. But now at the national level, abortion has always historically been popular to protect. 75% across history, right? At the national level, everyone now knows the Republican Party across the board is associated with those psychotic Christian zealots that stand outside of abortion clinics.
Right.
That's a really bad look. So you have two different categories within your voter base. You have the MAGA guys who make up a big chunk, probably the largest chunk of the voter base. The guys who are like super geared, the demon hunters, the people that go to the parent teachers conferences and they're like, oh, they're transing our children. The Nazis, the working class folk that are just completely brain broken by watching Tucker and Fox News and whatnot. And then you have the suburban voters who are like, I'm fiscally conservative. I'm a little racist. I'm racist. I just wish that they wouldn't be so brazen about their racism. Those two are at a contradicting point. Those two voter bases are at a contradicting point because like you can't captivate both of them at the same time in the same way Trump did in 2016 because he was running against Hillary Clinton and everybody fucking hated Hillary Clinton. So now you have to figure out a way to both win the primary, and the only way to win the primary is by going right, okay? And then not go so far right in the primary that you have pushed away the general electorate, the broader electorate that you need to have like a winning solution. The suburban, Karens and the wine moms and the racist white women in the suburbs.
Do you think that DeSantis or Trump is going to get it? Because me and Dan have been talking about it. I am so fired up, bro, for this upcoming presidential. The DeSantis versus Trump showdown is going to be spectacular, dude. It's going to be so entertaining and so fun.
Thoughts? I agree. There's going to be a lot of tea there. I think Donald Trump's already started blistering DeSantis a little bit.
Ron DeSanctimonious.
Yeah, he said that was not his best.
No,
he's gonna say Ron is the stinky. I think
Ron the Stinky.
Ron the Stinky.
Ron the neck lipo.
Don't we love it, folks? He's so. I love it. Problem is, Ron DeSantis looks like a fucking hero right now.
They love his ass.
He went from.
But once Trump starts bullying him, the perception changes. He's gonna Jeb Bush his ass.
I don't know.
Well, I'm on the edge of my seat. I love it, man.
I don't know because Ron DeSantis is like very good at gaining national prominence by doing Trump shit, but the National Republican Party knows he's not Trump, as in he's a political machine guy. So he will abide by the wishes of the Republican Party. Donald Trump, on the other hand, flies off, does whatever the fuck he wants to do.
And I'll tell you what, if Trump loses the primary, he's not going to concede, bro. He's going to tear that whole party down, I feel like.
We shall see.
He's going to be a Democrat. He's going to endorse fucking Joe Biden.
We shall see. It'll be very
Joe's a good man.
I am afraid of.
I've known
Ron
Joe a long time. He's a good man. We've golfed together. A lot of people don't like Joe, but he's a good man. Just totally flops. Anyway, so what I wanted to look at is some of the hardcore coping going on amongst our
Love that.
conservative contemporaries. Oh, by the way, my side note is that actually this would have helped Joe Biden a lot, but the inflation report came out today.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
favorable. It's going down way more than people expected. The
Oh,
market
yeah.
is up 5%. That's
Oh, yeah.
insane for one day. That's like fucking nuts.
Especially like important goods for survival, like food, it's down like 2-3%. I think it's crazy.
That's just such great news. I mean, that's
Yeah.
really good news. It just is. And again, 5%, that's nuts, dude, in a single day. So,
He
I mean,
did
it's
it.
still way down from where it was, but
He did it, Joe.
5%.
so that's great news. So let's start with Tim Pool. Tim, everyone should have a nuke pool. First of all, look at all these leading up to the
He's so goated.
election.
Just the best.
Look at
political
his
commentator.
thumbnails. Democrats panic after mail-in votes fall short, signaling massive
That
GOP
didn't even
red
happen.
wave.
Like, why? Where do you get that information from?
He's like the quartering. You could just make up, fucking say anything you want and put a title.
no,
It's
he's,
like
he's
so
smarter than the
easy.
Okay, don't diss him that hard.
I don't know. Quartering's thumbnails are pretty insane, bro.
Yeah, I mean, quartering does that for like culture war shit. At least like Tim Pool.
I like quartering more than Tim Pool. I'll be honest.
Really?
Because Tim Pool is like, he's such a fucking. He takes himself so fucking seriously.
Yeah.
And I just despise his stupid little fucking shtick. He's such a grifter. At least Quartering's like, I'm a big, fat, stupid, inbred fucking oaf, and I'm presenting you with that, and I
Fair.
appreciate that, you know.
I mean, I think they're both very dumb and very bad.
Oh, you're just mad because of these recent thumbnails on you, bro.
Wait, what is this?
Hassan has dark Jack Murphy-like past revealed.
What is this? Twitch communist attacks a fan at TwitchCon for asking a question about what the fuck? I've never.
This
oh,
is
Quartering did that?
thumbnails, yeah.
That's so funny.
And then this one, he made you look like an Islamist.
Oh,
That's pretty wild, actually.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Twitch megastar male feminist gets roasted.
This one says Twitch communist Hassan attacks a fan at TwitchCon for Oh, I know what that one is.
They're such bitches. That's such a funny thing to get upset about and then like present in that way, because like in that moment it looked like Twitter fingers did not turn into a real life altercation for the people that were like trying to agitate. So they like desperately were trying to flip the narrative around, and regardless of what everyone could very clearly see. They're like, oh no, he was actually owned, and it didn't. I didn't look like a pathetic little baby, no, he was owned in that circumstance.
That's why I'm so envious in a way of what Quartering and Tim Pool do, because you can just make a title and thumbnail of fucking anything, even talk about something totally unrelated for 10 minutes and just get the views. It's
Dude,
just
I would
nice,
fucking
man.
despise that. I would fucking.
nice.
I could not stand having an
Printing.
audience like that. I would probably kiss myself if that was my audience.
You would kiss yourself?
Yeah, you know what I mean. I don't know if you can say that.
Oh,
on
is that what
YouTube.
you would say? Okay, wow. Wait, Yilong responded? Wait. Are you serious, Zach?
Yeah.
We offered him 1,000 yuan.
And then he said in Chinese, bye, I don't care about you.
Dude, we lowballed him.
And then he said, forget it, don't waste each other's time. I keep asking him, give me a price, give me a price.
This guy
Throw
is,
something
dude.
out.
Okay, let's try again. Let's try.
Dude, he is such a business wizard.
Okay, let's do
dude.
2,000 yuan. How much
He's
is that?
fucking destroying you right now.
Okay, let's try 2,000 yuan. That's $300.
Oh my God, he's owning you, bro.
Bye. I don't care about you.
By the end of this, he's gonna have the $3 billion studio.
And then
He's gonna be able to buy Twitter after this.
And then he deleted all the messages from our chat. I guess you can do that in Telegram.
Is he just bailed, like for real?
Well, he's still talking to me.
Yeah, do 2,000 yuan. Best offer. It's just like a 10-minute call, bro. 2,000 yuan.
Okay.
You look desperate.
I am.
I mean, you should have came with a better offer.
Dude, for what? He's calling in for 10 minutes. Well, you think I should offer more than 2,000 yuan? That's $300. What the fuck he do to deserve that?
He is Yilong Ma. I'm in awe of the words that are coming out of your mouth.
All right, how much is 10,000 yuan? Take all my money, 10,000 yuan to
All
USD.
my money.
That's $1,400. I'm not
This is
giving him that. Fuck that.
H3 Productions is bankrupt.
I'm not giving that mother. I'm not giving that. I love his ass, but I ain't giving him more than that.
Well, let's see what he says to the 2,000.
2,000, bro. 2,000. Yeah, someone says around 250. Yeah, so that's what 2,000 yuan is $300 basically. So.
All right, let's get back to these losers though.
So anyway, Tim Pool, new production shows insane red wave coming. Democrats are freaking out. Democrats panic over blowout loss as safe blue areas now expect to flip GOP. Governor admits they're being destroyed by GOP as red wave looms. That's funny because Gavin Newsom won by like 30 points.
Gavin Newsom is one of those locks where it's like you don't even need a projection. Like the
Gabby
moment the polls
boy.
close, they call.
You seen
it
his
for him.
hair? Beautiful hair.
There is it's no contest.
Yeah,
My
so-
brother called me. He has not had access to the internet, but he's been around like old people for the past week. Like his internet is like patchy, and he was like, "So what's up? A lot of people are saying Nancy Pelosi lost her seat."
What?
I was like, "Bro, you're crazy. These people are
Nancy?
just insane." Yeah, dude, Nancy Pelosi.
I saw a clip of Tim saying that this is like he saw this coming. I thought that was in the doc, but I don't see it. If you can find that. Yeah, he went on a show and he's like, I don't know why everyone's surprised by this. Or maybe it was a tweet where he's like, this was a good turnout. Anyway, here he is.
Yeah, it was a tweet.
The day before the prime or the midterm, and he is.
Dude, this is awesome.
He's praying.
We
to the lunar
literally
eclipse.
have gone back to like medieval times.
Bro, he's doing a rain dance right now.
No, this is straight up like he is a medieval peasant, okay? Like, oh, my lord, the blood moon signifies we must sacrifice our firstborn for the harvest. Like, that's what Tim Pool is on, which is way cooler than like, you know, Nate Silver being like, oh my God, it's going to be a blowout red wave. Like, shut up, Nate. At least this is
Bitch,
like
Nate did not hear about the blood moon because that would have that would have altered his calculations. But here's Tim Pool saying that the blood moon foretells of a red
guys
wave.
literally are
Tomorrow
like dark age peasants, okay?
Yeah. What did
Which is cool as fuck.
At 12:02 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, when the entirety of the contiguous United States enters November 8th,
He's
the day
so
of the midterms,
serious, too.
So
there
I
will
love
be
that.
a total lunar eclipse, creating what's called a blood moon lunar eclipse.
Yeah.
It's also the day of the full moon. Ominous, to put it quite literally. The red moon, many say, signifies the coming red wave when Republicans will sweep.
God is a Republican, as you well know.
Dude, that's so
and
sick.
he loves the color red.
That's so sick.
God
Like, I
has
love-
God has made the moon MAGA in honor of this midterm election.
I'm constantly living in a world of contradiction because, like, on the one hand, I think it's like really fun when people lean into their schizophrenic tendencies like this, but also on the other hand, I'm like, oh my God, they're like literally making people insane.
He's a mysticist. He's a mysticist.
They're
He's a
making
shaman,
people
bro.
insane. And at a certain point, we're going to get to a certain point where it's not just going to be like 1.7, 1.8 million Pennsylvanians voting for a guy like Doug Mastriano.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be more than that. And I am thinking long term, this is unsustainable. Okay.
You think so? Because I thought this was a like a rebuke.
Nope.
Rebuke of that.
Because you're not looking at the other side of this. The other side of this, and this is what the Democrats do all the time. They're like, oh, we propped up with the Pied Piper strategy. We propped up some election deniers. We propped up some like anti-democracy zealots. We propped up some Christian nationalist fascists.
Mm-hmm.
And they got owned because, you know, the suburban wine mom said, no, that's too gnarly for me. I don't really like that. You're kind of gross. I'm going to vote for civility, which is what they vote for. What we are failing to comprehend here is that depending on which way Fox News goes, those people are inevitably going to be radicalized into believing that shit as well. And that's what I'm fearful
I don't know.
of. Every time you prop up these sickos, you got more people voting for them on the Republican side. And that is terrifying.
My relief in all this is that it seems like that's not what's happening, but I guess we'll see. Here's Tim Pool after all those videos foretelling of the great red wave. He tweeted out, "It's funny how Republicans won. DeSantis, Abbott, and Kemp won handily. 224 House seats projected, and yet I see leftists mocking the GOP as if they lost, and conservatives lamenting the results.
What?
The forecast was so bad for Dems. The GOP winning is the GOP winning this well is considered a loss."
Is he
Like,
talking about
that's
Ben Shapiro when he says leftist? Because honestly, Ben Shapiro has been destroying the Republican
all
Party.
the Republicans. I see them everywhere. Everyone's
That's
like, "This
so
was
weird.
a huge loss."
Dog.
Tim Pool's the only one who's like, "I told you that blood moon, bro. It spoke
That's
to me."
crazy. This is like literally a
This is hard.
historic
Yeah.
upset.
Yeah, it's
You know what I mean?
It's coping to
This
the
is like when the
high-
Harlem Globetrotters loses and everyone's like, what the fuck? The Washington Generals actually play ball? Like, what's happening? Like, this wasn't supposed to happen.
Actually, I want to continue this blood moon video though because people take Tim seriously, and I think it's important people know that he's actually just a
from Tim Pool.
The midterms of the blood moon. I love this story.
Me too.
Look, I am not an atheist. I am not particularly theistic. I don't follow any organized religion. But I gotta tell you, when you see stuff like this, you can't help but believe there is something else out there.
It's a
Yes,
fucking eclipse.
he's
bro.
right. He's right, dude. He's right.
It's just so stupid because like you have to be so ethnocentric to believe this. It's just like red is an arbitrary color that you.
Well,
pick,
it's communist. For the
Yeah,
rest of the world,
exactly. It could mean
for the rest of the
communism.
world, it literally means for the rest of the world outside of the United States of America, red is historically associated
Exactly.
with
So,
communism.
so by the same, if you want to use the same logic
Yeah.
that red is some symbolism, it'd be way more likely that red means that communism is back,
yeah,
baby.
yeah,
Yeah.
There's
it's
there's a spirit
it's like, shut
haunting.
the
There's a
fuck-
specter haunting the United States. It's the specter of communism. But like I said, he's gonna do like. I want him to do, like really lean into it, like do like ritualistic shaman
I wanna see a
sacrifices, like a
dance.
fucking pagan, you know?
Let's kill some rabbits.
Yeah.
Drink their blood.
Just like sucking on the neck of a rabbit, Tim Pool, like, ooh, this bodes not so well for
believe
the
this is-
Democrats.
I believe this is how Bloodborne started. Is that right, Dan?
Mm-hmm.
Right. He's about to hit up. He's about to go goblin hunting.
Yeah.
not just chaos. Order exists. Because this
Give
is
me some
just-
creepy music, Zach. I think that will add a lot. Yeah.
It's crazy. Moon. And a
Crazy.
total lunar
Moon.
eclipse. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
What if this
not
signifies
at all.
dark days? I don't know. How about we be a little bit more optimistic than pessimistic and say it signals a cleansing? That there's going to be a shift. The Republicans are going to come in. They're going to wash away this
Would you
corruption
say
and this
an
taint.
ethnic cleansing?
Yeah, positive things like that. Posy vibes. Keep up the posy vibes.
Mm-hmm. Let's think positive here, guys.
For the next 2 years will be a process. That the omen is not for those
does
of
he
sound
think?
mind and good judgment, those of honesty. The omen is for the Democrats who lied, cheated, and stole their way to power.
What?
Maybe.
I didn't know Tim was an election denier.
Oh, dude, he definitely is. Well, come on.
Maybe this sign is.
That's how the 49 state landslide didn't happen.
yeah,
Like,
fuck, I
because
forget.
Democrats cheated. No,
that
I
they're
love
going to
this.
face accountability. And
Okay, so God is sending a
the
message
funny,
to
the
Democrats.
funniest part about this
On the
rhetoric, in my opinion, is not that he, sounds like a fucking medieval peasant, but also the fact that he thinks like the Republicans, if they gained control over both the House and Senate, would actually do something productive with that. Like he thinks, no, they were gonna impeach Biden, probably successfully, by the way, somehow.
so?
Like after 11 impeachments, they would have like 100 different Hunter Biden investigative committees.
We've had another laptop.
You would literally see Hunter Biden, like there would be a one dedicated to his penis alone. Like everything that Hunter Biden did, committee time.
Yeah, but
They weren't gonna do anything with that power.
another clip of Tim resurfaced during the 2020 election. He had what is probably the funniest take ever. He predicted a 49, perhaps 50 state landslide for
He
Trump.
lost.
California
He
and
wasn't
New York
wrong.
included.
Democrats cheated.
This is so satisfying. Watch this.
I think Kamala and Biden might be throwaway candidates. They know they're going to get steamrolled in the election. I really don't see the Democrats winning this. I think it's fair to say Trump's going to win re-election. I think Trump might have a massive, massive victory.
Why do people still watch him?
I think we're looking at a Trump victory, man. Trump
This
2020.
this man clearly has literally no insight to the point that he's trying to read the moon.
Okay, why do people watch him? What do you mean? First of all, people watch him because he's hot. Okay,
Yeah, he is sexy.
Because he's fucking sexy. I'll just say it. I'm not afraid. people are like, damn, I want to be like him. How can I be him? You know, they look up to him in that regard. So that's number one. Number two, he's just soothing. Like, he's literally, everybody wants to hear from, quote unquote, the opposing side, agreeing with their worldview. Tim Pool has been able to somehow maintain his like centrist presence because like the shit that he talks about and the way that he covers the news comes across in a centrist way, I guess, to like political normies who are dumb, but then like they kind of see his videos on the search bar on the related news tab. And that's why people love when a liberal is like, I'm a liberal. I'm progressive, as a matter of fact. But I think Donald Trump's going to win 49 states. Like every hog and Hogalina is going to watch that and go, that's right.
Finally, somebody speaking the truth
It's
here,
a
brother.
libtard with some sense.
Yeah, he was wrong about the 49 state thing, but I still
they don't
believe in
think
him.
either. They think Trump was going to sweep.
Thing going on with COVID, I think that's what we can expect. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Trump had a 49-state landslide. I think we could see a 49-state landslide. We may be looking at a Mondale Reagan-type scenario where Trump landslides 49 states. And we may see a 49-state landslide.
You can't be
maybe
serious.
A 50-state landslide. That'd be
That
amazing.
is a 50
I think we might be
landslide.
seeing a 49-state landslide.
What's the state that wasn't going to vote for
I was just
our
thinking
Lord
that.
and Savior? I wonder.
Probably, I mean, it had to be New York or California.
California,
They
probably,
hate
yeah.
California more than New York.
California.
California's crime-ridden, drug addicts everywhere. Damn, I wouldn't step foot in that state. It's a dangerous cesspool, boy. Anyway, here in Texas, we lose power during the coldest month of the year every year.
Okay, let's keep it a $1.50. Fucking California infrastructure is not exactly great either. On election day, I'm covering the midterms. I had 3 power outages because it was raining. Okay,
Really?
so
I didn't have any power actually. Mine was fine. Do you guys have any problems?
Yeah, I had.
Oh, you did?
problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, that's crazy.
yeah, we live
don't
in
take rain very well.
We live in the proletariat suburbs, unlike you, sir.
Yeah, right. You're no proletariat, please.
Yeah, in the working class suburbs of West Hollywood.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Tim Pool's a fucking idiot. We love that about him. But here is a Fox News compilation of coping and seething. This guy, what's his name? I forget his name, but I know he.
Jesse Waters.
Yeah, Jesse Waters, who is of course a traditional
he's-
values guy.
He's Fred Flintstone if he took clenbuterol.
Wait, what's clenbuterol?
It's a horse asthma bronchitis steroid that people use to cut with. It's like a fat burner.
You cut it into steroids?
It is steroids.
Oh.
You just take it as a fat burner.
Okay. You got any of that going spare?
No.
Okay. Just
You want
asking.
some?
Yeah, I want some. I'm trying to burn some fat.
Bro, I will get you steroids. Like, let's put you on a
What would that
fucking
even
regimen.
do for me? Like,
Let's
I'm
put
not-
you on a stack. Dude, you're going to want to fucking work out. You're going to be angry all the time. You're going to be
lift
horny.
something heavy.
You're going to be horny all the time. You're going to be angry all the time. You're going to want to fucking, you're going to want to lift weights.
Ah, give me something heavy.
An angrier, hornier Ethan is exactly what the show needs.
That'd be so weird, though. It'd be funny.
He's gonna fall asleep, hump in the bed again naked.
We're gonna come into the studio with his pants around his ankles.
Don't need that. Yeah, this guy, traditional values, Fox News guy, he actually is famous in my life for stalking and deflating the tire of the woman he had a crush with. He cheated on his wife with her, but yeah, he got her by deflating one of her tires so he could trick her into giving a ride home.
It was an intern at the time,
Get
too,
yo-
right?
Oh, he was? Get yo.
I don't know.
Man who.
It was an employee of his. I don't
Oh,
know if it
okay.
was an intern, but yeah.
Anyway, here he is.
I can't believe John Fetterman won.
Oh, wait. Didn't we say we wanted to replace this, Dan, with the mega compilation of him?
Oh. I can try and find that real quick.
Chris Hayes. Chris Hayes had one.
Yeah, Dan will pull that. But in the meantime, here's Laura Ingraham. It was pretty great.
Going into 2024, the Republicans are going to be looking for candidates who are focused on winning, not just making a point or settling a score. So to really change the country, we're going to have to win, and we have to win over voters outside our traditional base. That means young people, too. That's got to be the goal for the next presidential election. The populist movement is about ideas.
Yes, ma'am.
It is not about any one person.
God, dude, she is like, first of all, she was one of the biggest Trump dick riders of all time.
They all were, but they also, if you remember, because I've been doing this for a very long time, Ethan, back in 2015, they all despised Donald Trump.
Of course.
People forget that. These guys, they know what the
Trump
base
will
want.
ruin the party, brother.
Republicans run towards the desires of their base. Democrats run away from the desires of their base,
Right.
which is ironic because Republicans' base desires are fucking awful, but the Democratic base desires resemble the desires of a normal functioning state.
Well, anyway, she's basically being like, Trump, by the way, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
And we all knew this whole time that Trump was a piece of shit.
It's not just like ego and grievance, though. I mean, it is grievance for sure, but like your entire politics is grievance. You just were not able, you went too far. You were not able to fucking brainwash enough people into becoming psychotic Christian zealots. Your base is falling apart. The more we modernize, the more likely it is that the next generation is going to be less religious. There are less and less like Christians, tradcats in this country every fucking year. Okay, you can't build a winning coalition by going after the most insane people over and over again, especially when you give them results. When you give them results, you associate the National Party with the psychotic abortion clinic watchers. Okay, and nobody wants that. Nobody wants to be a part of that.
You fucking lose. I love it.
Voters conclude that you're
trying to show
putting
me
your
one?
own
Yeah, it was. It's too
ego
hard,
or your
though.
own grudges ahead of what's good for the country, they're going to look elsewhere. Period.
We knew that. I always knew that.
Yeah, she always knew that.
Here she is.
One of the
Oh,
yeah.
and this was a
One of the worst
she's
parts-
hailing Hitler to Trump, our Lord and Savior. We love
One of the
Trump.
worst campaign strategies, like always, was literally just denying the election results
That's
because it was
refreshing.
so petty. Like Trump does have a cult of personality. If he's on the ballot, things might be different. Obviously, you're gonna have a lot more motivated people to go out and vote for him. But when he's not on the ballot and he's only pumping people that are saying that like he actually didn't lose, that's going to really throw off a lot of people, and you're not going to be able to captivate a winning coalition, which they didn't.
Here's Jesse Waters losing his mind. It's very satisfying.
Look at what happened, let's say, in Pennsylvania. I can't believe John Fetterman won.
Really? Dr. Oz is like the lamest, most pathetic loser candidate I've ever fucking seen in history.
If you can't believe John Fetterman won, then you just have never paid attention to Pennsylvania politics until like yesterday.
Who would vote for Dr. Oz? Like, even you probably didn't vote. Who the fuck would vote for him? Like,
Well,
that's
no.
just brain
Dr.
rot.
Dr. Oz is not necessarily the worst candidate, right? That's the reason why he actually performed pretty well. He performed, he performed significantly better than Doug Mastriano, right? Because he is a winning coalition candidate. He definitely does get like some of the civility focusing Republicans, right? The issue is
the Fetty Wap.
John Fetterman is diehard, bleeds fucking Pennsylvania, lives and breathes Pennsylvania.
Right.
He's not a fake phony guy. He is in many respects the perfect candidate.
Right.
He is like if you were to do like an AI generated, Pennsylvania union guy, that is what it would spit out. Okay, John Fetterman, 6'8", lieutenant governor, went to
Wears
Harvard,
gym
had
shorts
affluent
everywhere.
parents, went to Harvard, had affluent parents, which they were trying to hit him on, by the way, which was laughable. Because which fucking politician hasn't gone to Harvard at this point?
Tucker, let's not talk about inheritance.
Yeah. So had rich parents, went to Harvard, literally went back to Braddock, Pennsylvania, small town, high population of black folk living there, very poor. Went back to Braddock, massive gun violence happening in Braddock, became the mayor, fixed up Braddock, like genuinely put Braddock on the map for Pennsylvania. It's not something that people are going to forget. They're not going to forget this dude who literally would take time out of his fucking day to teach people, to educate people on his spare time so that they could get their GEDs. Like, this
So
guy
glad he
lives and
won.
breathes Pennsylvania, so he was basically the exact opposite of Dr. Oz in many respects, a person who came into Pennsylvania from New Jersey, ew, oh my God, I can't comprehend a worse state to fucking come into
That's what I'm
Pennsylvania from.
saying. He's just a slimy fuck, bro. Anyway, let's just watch
TV
this,
personality. Of course he was going to lose.
Yeah.
Especially if Fetterman didn't have a stroke.
What do you mean,
my
of
Lord,
course?
he would have fucking destroyed.
That's
he would
true.
wiped
Even
him
with
out
the stroke,
so hard.
I didn't watch the debate, but I heard it was pretty
it
rough
wasn't
for
good.
him.
It wasn't good.
Yeah, but he's still.
John Fetterman won. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I honestly can't believe
Believe
they
it,
voted
bitch.
for this guy. So abortion was critical, we know, in Pennsylvania. I did not see that it was going to be that critical. Oz was not a great candidate. He had a brutal...
We knew he wasn't a good candidate the whole time.
No, I disagree. I think Dr. Oz was not that bad of a candidate. I'll say it, which is why I think he performed pretty well against...
Crudichet? Anybody?
He is an elitist, but he was able to at least capture the Trump supporters because he had Trump's backing from day one.
You're born in New Jersey?
He was able to win, he was able to win
cringe.
the coalition of like moderates as well in Pennsylvania suburbs in a way that Doug Mastriano never was able to capture. Because Doug Mastriano is a fucking psycho, right?
Yeah,
he is exactly the
yeah.
type of psychopath. He's like a Christian nationalist,
Stop
QAnon
the steal.
fascist.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So that's why Josh Shapiro wiped the fucking floor with Doug Mastriano, but the race between Oz and Fetterman was more competitive.
Crudichet, though, that Crudichet video. Anyway, let's watch.
Primary, he took the summer off, and he campaigned hard at the end, but people didn't trust him. They didn't trust the guy. He wasn't from Pennsylvania. And so it all is going to come down to Georgia runoff again. So
He's yelling.
This is about Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker, on the other hand, is a bad
shot
candidate.
Oh, he is a nightmare.
He's not a good candidate. He has so many liabilities. Dr. Oz had some liabilities as well. You know, a lot of Oppo research if you're on TV for fucking 20, 30 years.
Sure, yeah. He drinks his own piss, by the way.
But Herschel Walker, on the other hand, gigantic liabilities, like unimaginable, so much Oppo. When the national spotlight gets onto this fucking Georgia race, no matter how much Republicans try to beef up this guy, Georgia voters that went for Brian Kemp, it's gonna be a hard sell for Georgia voters who liked Brian Kemp because Brian Kemp was anti-Trump and because Brian Kemp was like fundamentally for democracy, but like still a Republican in every sense of the word. Those guys might not actually go and shift over for Herschel Walker. The argument from Republicans in this race is probably going to be the runoffs that are going to happen in December now, is going to be, listen, we know the guy is not all there, but it's a vote. It's a reliable vote. And I don't know how many suburban white moms and suburban white dads who are like relatively affluent or at least like care about civility and aesthetics. I don't know how many of those guys you're going to be able to convince to vote for
Warnock's
a dude.
going to crush him because people like the governor there. They went to support him.
Yeah.
Now he's not on the ballot, so they really would be going for the express purpose of supporting Herschel Walker, who is a walking calamity. So I think Warnock is definitely going into this with a massive advantage, and he did get the vote here. I mean, barely, but he did get it.
No, it's not barely. That's winning.
It's almost 1%. Yeah.
The irony, and I did not know this, the irony, of course, of Georgia having runoffs is Georgia used to have runoff elections because white supremacists didn't want a black person to ever, gain like a Senate seat, which is why they created the runoff system, so that all the white people who are racist would coalesce behind the white candidate, would go and support the white candidate. That's why they started the runoffs in Georgia, which is ironic because now you have, two black candidates going against one another. Interesting to think about, even though Herschel Walker is operating at the behest of white supremacists. Let's be real.
Yeah. And you got 88% of the evangelical vote, despite Warnock literally
evangelicals
dedicating his life to Jesus.
Evangelicals are insane.
Yeah.
Okay? They're not voting on Christian principles. They're voting on evangelical principles, which is like hurting the opposition. They are the demon hunters. They are the ones who think they're fucking Tenjiro. They think that they're slaying demons out there, going to parent-teacher conferences and shit. They're psychotic. They've lost the plot. Of course they're going to vote for someone that resembles their worldview.
Here is, I'll play this a little bit longer.
In New Hampshire, I mean, that guy got railroaded. And if you put up a guy in who's running for governor in Pennsylvania, who just got slaughtered. I mean, these things have down ballot consequences. That hurts Oz, it hurts the Republican House candidates. Zeldin did great, considering this is a deep blue state. Kathy Hochul had help from every Democrat, crooked,
Bullshit.
Bill, Obama,
Bullshit.
Kamala. Everybody came in to save her. There's just not.
You want me to talk about this real quick too,
Biden
New York?
that there
No.
is
I just want to finish this clip.
Okay, finish
yeah,
the clip.
Yeah.
for Barack Obama and for the Clintons. There's not a hate Biden vote that's out there. You know, when you go with Trump's on the ballot, there's that hate Trump Democrat vote. People just don't feel the same passion against the guy that they also feel
he's just
for
a
other
really
people.
nice guy.
And we have a problem demographically. Single women are voting for Democrats by 30 points.
This was my favorite. I wonder why. It's such a mystery. Why are single women voting for Democrats? We can't figure this one out. It's just so crazy to see that.
Well, he's
37. 37 points. And in urban America, they're cleaning our clocks in the cities. Cleaning our clocks. I'm not saying anything nefarious is going on, but they are cleaning our clocks in the cities, and we're giving it away. And the fact that these youth voters are coming in so strong on an off year is very concerning. It looks like they've been brainwashed.
We need to send them to war.
Yeah, they've been brainwashed. No, dumbass. Like, there's two reasons, okay? There's two primary reasons why the youth are voting in the way that they did. Ease of access to fucking voting in the form of mail-in ballots, and also abortion. Like, obviously, they give a shit about this. You literally undermined an entire generation. When you tell an entire generation of people that they do not have the civil liberties that their fucking grandparents had, they're going to come out and vote. That's not brainwashing. You did that.
Also, I think that young people aren't buying into this whole like trans scare because they know they're so much more familiar with these issues.
Yes.
They know them. This whole trans
They
thing
have
is
classmates that
fucking
are
stupid.
trans.
Yeah.
They have classmates that are queer. Like, it's not the same panic for them. My friend Osita, who I had on yesterday, brought up was it Osita who brought this up? Regardless, someone I was talking to brought this point up where they said like a lot of the anxiety of the Republican Party and the anger that the Republican Party presents as like political policy positions is actually grievance towards Gen Z. It's actually grievance towards the upcoming generation. So if your entire fucking worldview revolves around like trying to captivate the older voters, which Republicans voted, 65 plus, voted by 45 percentage points for the Republicans, right? 65-year-old and plus, 45%, plus 45 points. Like, if that's your goal, then if you go too far and you activate the youth, they're gonna fucking come out. They're gonna come out and vote.
I love to see it, man. That's what we need. We need the young people getting involved, and they are, and I love to see it. By the way, speaking of what you said about Fetterman, we typed into an AI generator full portrait photo of a Pennsylvania Union member wearing gym shorts and a sweatshirt. It looks more like Tom Segura, to be frank. But,
it does kind of look like Tom, doesn't it?
It is there.
I mean, it's close enough to
close enough.
Yeah, it is. It is. I love how the AI is like, this dude's bald. That's all I know for sure.
Yeah.
This new generation is totally brainwashed because a lot of these single women that vote 37 spreads for Democrats are teaching all of our younger generation in these schools, and they're polluting their minds, and then they grow up, and then they're in their 20s, and then they vote for leftists.
That's awesome.
The best part was cut out. He goes, you know what we need to do about these single women? We got to get them married.
Yeah. No, that's great. Love that. Great, brilliant, insightful political analysis. Also, ironic, like, shitting on women in this way definitely is the best way to win them over.
Well, they don't know why the single women are not supporting them.
Yeah, because
It's just
there's
so
like
mysterious.
hours and hours and hours of commentary that I have seen personally of them literally shitting on ugly single women in cities with blue hair that have cats.
Unfuckable.
They literally routinely talk about cat ladies. It's like, bro, you are the most unfuckable person on the
Tucker
planet.
says that shit. Unfuckable
Like,
blue-haired women.
Greg Gutfeld and Jesse Waters are in a permanent Olympics to be the most cringe, unfuckable, pathetic losers on television, okay? It's a weird lineup because there's plenty of them on Fox News, and these guys are Olympic medal-winning, unfuckable goobers, and yet they are talking about women in this way. It's not, like, that's why these people have so much disdain for you.
This is one of my favorite coping clips. This is Roger Stone and Alex Jones. What a lineup. They have a moment of self-realization here. It's almost like self-aware wolf, you know, that subreddit. It's like,
Yeah.
I think we fucked up. I think we went fucked up. They're like, oh shit, we convinced everyone the election's rigged. That's why no one voted.
Done. And people need to stop just counting on somebody else to do it.
I actually think, unfortunately, the results last night add to a growing frustration. What disappoints me is the number of people who tell me that after the last election, they just tuned out anything political and stopped paying attention.
Damn.
I mean, their attitude is, it's broken, it cannot be fixed.
I think that's what you've been telling them.
Yeah.
We fucked up. We might have fucked up.
Yeah, it almost feels like it almost feels like basing your entire political mobilization around like not mobilizing for politics or not mobilizing for the elections is not a winning mechanism. Not a winning policy. It's weird.
We're all trying to find the guy who did this.
Have you not seen this show?
I have.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Game, and hope that they're not letting boys play girls sports and vice versa.
Right.
So,
That's it.
That's right.
Boys play
girls sports.
Boys playing girls sports is not a winning strategy, but they don't know that. They're so fucking turf-brained, they cannot comprehend it. It is literally beyond the scope of reason for them to think like, maybe we should just leave trans people alone. Maybe we should just leave trans kids alone.
They see the reaction and they like it, and they're fundraising and they're selling products, and all these hateful bigots are coming in. But it's not a real reflection of what's happening on the ground. So I think they're getting like negative feedback.
No,
loop there.
they're like trans people in mainstream media used to get a lot of coverage that was, I wouldn't say positive, but like a lot of defensive coverage.
Mm-hmm.
At the time when everyone was like woke, like, oh, this is woke. Oh, we need to be more woke, right? This was like the 2015 era. So they really pumped up that coverage. They were like, oh, you're being transphobic, you're canceled, blah, 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 right? That was like a poppin' thing all the way from like 2015 till I would say, it started evening out a little bit. Now we've gotten to a point where like these guys are constantly talking about everything being anti-woke. They're constantly like, I want to make sure that my Yo place doesn't have gender. Gender neutral pronouns on my yogurt when I go to the store, like whatever.
Mr. Potato Head.
People got exhausted by, and I'm not saying there's a moral equivalence here, but people got exhausted by the woke stuff, right? I guess like the Normans got exhausted by the woke stuff, and now they are understandably, and for a very long time now, exhausted by the anti-woke backlash. They don't want to hear it. They don't give a shit. There was a 2021 YouGov study that I saw being shared all around the internet yesterday. It's a really funny study. They polled people. They were like, "Are you woke or are you not woke?" Right? And I think it was like 13% said, "Yes, I consider myself woke." 23% said, "No, I don't consider myself woke." And then like 60% was like, I don't know what that means, and I don't care.
It's so dumb.
And that is how people are. They're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what is this fucking trans children are pissing in fucking litter boxes shit? Like, talk to me about the fucking gas prices.
Yeah, well, it's great.
What are you going to do about it?
I was afraid it was going to work for them, but again, that's just why I'm feeling so encouraged by the results here. It's nice to see.
From this, folks, they're going to destroy us. You can no longer stick your damn head in the gun. And
So there's that. That one was really good. Here's one of, I don't know what the fuck this show is, but something tells me it's got to be really popular based on how ghetto it looks.
Oh, dude, no, it definitely isn't. No shot. This is when you're going to like these strange apps to find like, this is like the 1488 truth teller guy talking to washed up American neo-Nazi.
Well, it says Conservative Daily, your daily dose of sanity. So I don't know. This is giving me high budget.
You watch this shit.
This
look,
one,
if your
this
parents are
vertical
watching
stuff.
this shit, they're lost. They're lost in the sauce. This is exactly the kind of shit that is like, I think, triggering to the suburban moms and dads who are like, I'm kind of conservative. I would look the other way if homeless people were getting shot, but also at the same time, like, don't do it in front of me.
Yeah, I don't want to see that. So here, let's see what Conservative Daily, the Daily Dose of Sanity, has to say about it.
I'm still beside myself as I'm sitting here looking at all the things that we're dealing with, and I'm saying to myself, how?
How? The blood moon foretold. How could this happen?
I have to look at this and go, Kerry Lake is down by 13%, with 70% of Maricopa reporting.
Told you they can't let her be governor.
I
She'll
mean,
investigate. They can't let
listen,
her.
Yeah, these guys are crazy.
We can
They're
see the
investigate.
fraud. We can see the fraud in the machines, Draza. We can see it. We can see it. Yes, mail-in ballots. Yes, 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 yes. The ERIC system shares all these people, and the fraud of stealing people's identities and putting that in and front-loading the machines with the SQL database, which I said you could do. It showed it in Mesa County. You run the database right next to the thing.
Yes.
I'm still
go off, King. Whatever
I mean,
the fuck.
you sound like a psychopath, brother.
No, it's the daily dose of sanity.
And if you make that your national campaign, you're gonna fucking lose because people are gonna be like, "That's gross. You're gross. You're crazy. I don't want to be associated with that."
Well, Elon Musk, the kingmaker, he said, I voted for Myra Flores. First time I ever voted Republican. Massive red wave coming, unfortunately. The kingmaker, he just didn't pull through for Myra.
Myra Flores says, the red wave did not happen. Republicans and independents stayed home. Do not complain about the results if you do not do your part. Love that. Chef's kiss. That is some Democrat ass shit right there.
Right.
This is my favorite
Vote
part.
harder.
This is my favorite part of like the liberalization of American politics. Like everyone turns into a liberal in a long enough timeline. And that person, straight up, that's a Democrat. Did a fucking Democratic Party operative write that tweet for you? That is the most like Hillary Clinton-esque. Let's not look within. Let's not fucking figure out how to win these goddamn campaigns. And let's just bully our base of support. No, that's perfect. Love that, dude. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Y'all didn't go to the polls.
Yeah. You didn't vote hard enough.
It wasn't my fault for not motivating.
That is not a winning strategy. Now, the difference between Democrats and Republicans that like at the top level, Republicans do understand how to create winning strategies. Democrats don't give a shit about winning. Republicans do. So they will definitely, I think, tailor their campaign as best as they can outside of Donald Trump now.
This was my ultimate favorite. I saved it for last. Steven Crowder puts forth an incredible kind of philosophical question. What if we did not do peaceful transfers of power?
Can you match this up with Steven Crowder's tweet that I had retweeted talking about the night of the red wave before it happened? I remember Steven Crowder saying, I remember him saying, what cities are the Democrats going to burn to the ground when they realize the red wave is coming?
Oh, that's interesting because he's the one here suggesting maybe we should have a civil war every 2 years.
That's really strange. Let's watch the Steven Crowder tweet first.
Here's this, just to consider.
No. Let's hear what he had to say. Oh, okay.
Once Democrats lose, which city will have riots first? Red wave. Okay, so that is interesting. Now let's hear Steven Crowder's take on it.
Just so you know, we didn't always pull off a peaceful transfer of power. You talked about us. We actually, as a nation, became a nation because we pulled off the completely unpeaceful transformation of power.
Yes. You no longer have power over us.
Right.
That's not true, by the way. It wasn't a transfer of power. It was like just a war.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't trying. It was
That's
just
what
a
he
king.
wants.
It's just
That's what he wants, though. That's what he wants.
But yeah, I love this idea. He's like
the Revolutionary War, brother.
Every 2 years, baby. If we lose, it's war.
Listen, man. If your gimp suit wearing ass wasn't sucking up to the queen so fucking hard when she died, maybe I'd listen to your words about the Revolutionary War, okay?
Yeah.
You dumb motherfuckers. They're just such simps for power. Whoever the fuck is in an authoritarian position, whoever like triggers the libs, shut the fuck up. You have no consistency, bitch.
All right, let me play it. Let me just watch this.
Yes, exactly. The King of England. We were like, yeah, how about, suck this transfer of power, huh? Oh, there goes your tea. So sorry. Sorry about your tetleys.
You're so
what?
funny,
That doesn't
bro.
make
I'm
any
dying.
sense.
I'm dying. It's not funny, bro.
There is no transfer of power in a monarchy. That's the
what
point.
I'm saying. There was no transfer of power. It was just a war.
The war
for
in part was so that we could
Let him
start
cook, let him
transferring
cook.
power.
I want to hear what he has to say. Let's see.
The transfer of power started with George Washington. He was the first. There was,
Please pull off a peaceful transfer of power. You talk
Bet you're a patriot, bitch. You don't even know your fucking American history, you fraud.
Of power, huh? Oh, there goes your tea. So sorry. Sorry about your tetleys.
Well, and then, like you said, that whole North versus South end of slavery thing.
Yeah.
That whole peaceful.
Yeah,
Whose side would you be on, dickhead?
But also
The
not a
fuck?
transfer of power. That
Yeah.
had nothing to do with the transfer
Yeah,
of power.
first of all, motherfucker, like your entire fan base is on the other side.
Yeah.
Okay, what the fuck?
You're the one who's like, we must keep up the statue of General Lee.
Yeah.
Robert E. Lee's an American hero.
That's so. God damn, these people are so fucking brazenly dumb.
Robert E. Lee is an American hero. Anyone who vandalizes or attempts to move this statue will have to face me. I carry a tiki torch, and I believe in free slavery. I mean, I believe in.
No, his heritage not hate, brother, but
It's
also
heritage.
But also, you know, that's what happened. So what's up? You want the fucking them army of the fucking federal government to come and raise the South this time, unlike they did last time? You know what I mean? Is that what you want, bitch? Shut the fuck up.
But again, not a transfer of power. It was
Yeah.
literally they're trying to secede from the nation. That's not
Federal government activating the National Trans Guard to just murk and jail every conservative.
Let's go, baby.
Right,
Finally.
exactly. That very peaceful transfer of power.
Cannons at each other from 18 feet away. Peaceful exchange.
Yeah, not a transfer of power.
So again, peaceful transfer, and I'm not suggesting any kind of violent upheaval over the elect. That's not what I'm
Obviously,
suggesting. But
you-
the idea
you-
that the peaceful transfer of power is inherently our most valued tradition, it's not.
Bro.
Listen, you
This
know,
is
no
so
disrespect to
nuts.
people that have carpal tunnel, but like, if you got carpal tunnel, you can't be talking about peaceful transfer of power as though like, you know, you're gonna go do a violent insurrection.
He has carpal tunnel.
I mean, he's got a fucking what does he got? He's got a brace. He's got like a fucking wrist brace. From what? I know your ass ain't working.
you're
You're not a fucking blacksmith. You don't use that hand. You're just like.
Are you suggesting he would not make a good soldier?
No, he wouldn't.
But he's got straps.
Also, he's got terrible heart. You know, he would die
Right,
immediately.
Yeah, he would dodge the draft so
Oh,
fast.
for sure, because you know.
I got a gun, but I got heart problems. Gonna hide over here.
Our original tradition is rebellion, is violent rebellion. That's why you have the Second Amendment. You may not like it.
Bro
but
got
that is the
carpal
history
tunnel
of
from
our country,
clicking.
unlike Canada.
With a mouse, you know, it's crazy.
Unlike not only countries, you know, in the UK, but also their colonies, by the way. They have a slavery basis with a lot of these countries. Ours is fighting off the world's greatest superpower to become the world's greatest superpower the next century. Never been done before or since. It's never happened.
And also
That's our
preserving
greatest
slavery
tradition.
too.
Yeah.
That other war was quite literally about, you know, the preservation of slavery.
But actually, so what is your point? You say okay, well,
He's just saying, well, violent insurrection, like
yeah,
we could
he's
do
like,
it.
That's dope. He's like, listen, I'm not saying violent insurrection, but what I am saying is like theoretically, it's kind of dope.
I don't know if you remember this, but they did try that a little bit, and it was like pretty lame, and they got fucking owned. And you actually, if I remember correctly, said any candidate that doesn't run on abolishing the FBI will not get my vote.
Yeah, right.
You remember that? Because
Yeah,
I remember.
Yeah, I do.
Remember when Steven Crowder said literally those words? Why? Because the FBI was investigating Donald Trump not returning classified documents.
Right. Yeah,
I
I'm
wonder
looking-
if Steven Crowder still urged people to go out and vote for Republicans who didn't abolish the FBI.
Wait, have you heard there's Crowder news? People are trying to get him in trouble because he said some. Have you seen that?
Oh,
Dan?
yeah, the George Zimmerman one. I
Because
did.
well, the thing is like, all the conservatives were trying to get or did get me, and trying, and apparently Crowder had a heated.
Yeah, he
gamer
said, "Where's
moment.
George Zimmerman when
Yeah,
you need him?" In reference to John Fetterman wearing a hoodie and his family wearing a hoodie. He was like, "Huh, what a fucking loser!" Like his entire family's wearing a hoodie, and then said, "Where's George Zimmerman when you need him?"
Yeah.
Basically openly admitting that like it's George Zimmerman's murder of Trayvon Martin was unjustifiable, but made him feel good because
But also suggesting that someone should murder his whole family.
Yeah.
So we were just talking about it in our crew chat a second ago, and after screening it, I don't know if we could even show it.
Yeah, I don't
because
think
he
we
didn't
should
show.
show it.
He didn't do it on YouTube. He did it on his Rumble bullshit.
Oh, yeah, I don't.
I think
oh,
it's
he
like
did it on
strike territory
Rumble?
if we were to show it.
Oh, so of course he's not going to get in trouble with YouTube then.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, he didn't
no,
do
I
it on
don't
the
think we
platform.
should
I don't
show
even think
it.
he
I don't
can go live on YouTube anymore, can he? I feel like he's gotten so many fucking strikes. I doubt that he can go live.
Well, they wear off eventually.
Yeah, no, he's up on YouTube. He's up and running. Let me see. Louder with Crowder. Yeah, he's on YouTube.
No, but going live is different. Don't you need like?
No, I don't think so. Let's see. I mean, what? Wait, what?
What?
He has it. So he streamed 2 weeks ago, and he's kind of MIA on YouTube right now.
So fucking stupid, bro.
Look at this. Last video uploaded was 1 month ago. and the
Yeah, I
last
think
live stream
he's
was 2
just like
weeks ago.
pumping his clip channel right now,
Oh, he has a clip channel.
or whatever. I don't know. Let's move on from this though.
Really? You want to Crowder bits?
Yeah, Crowder Bits is where he
attention
uploads a
this
lot of his
time,
shit. I
listen.
think now it's more active.
12 days.
Bro,
never mind.
Didn't have to think about it, dude.
He bailed, bro.
Pay attention
He's
this
out on
time,
Rumble
listen.
talking about killing Fetterman's family. So okay, that's a good place for that. So that's that. Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, is there anything else you want to talk about? I skipped some stuff because I was afraid we didn't have time for it.
Yeah.
But
we can talk about Ron DeSantis real quick.
love to.
Ron DeSantis won big in Florida in the previous election. He literally almost lost to Andrew Gillum, who was like, a handpicked candidate by the Democratic Party. Andrew Gillum is also a black Democrat, which is important for Florida a little bit, right? He barely defeated Andrew Gillum last time around by like 0.3% of the vote. And this time around, the gigantic advantage that you have over Charlie Crist is hard not to recognize.
Sorry, he is suspended currently.
Yeah.
How is he? Dude, this guy gets like a strike every month, more than me. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's horrific, bro. I totally missed this. I didn't even know this happened.
Yeah, I remember him saying this. Yeah.
Steven Crowder called Kamala Harris, I don't even want to say it, but generically, ethnic. I didn't even say it because I don't, you know what I mean? But
Steven
you could
Crowder
read
is
it.
interesting because, like, when he gets racist with it, he, like, skips 3 generations. You know what I mean?
He goes way back.
He talks about racist shit in a way that, like, you haven't really heard in a while. Like 85-year-olds are like, damn, that's some old school racism.
That's like rocking chair racism. Like,
Yeah, it's very, very weird. Oh, this was a good clip.
Yeah,
Here, play this while I go
reminded
pee.
me how much I miss Trump and how excited I am for him.
This is the best clip.
The war with DeSantis here. Yeah.
You've endorsed more than 330 candidates this election cycle. Tonight, win or lose, the results for Republicans, how much of that will be because of Donald Trump?
Well, I think if they win, I should get all the credit, and if they lose, I should not be blamed at all, okay? But it'll probably be just the opposite. When they win, I think they're going to do very well. I'll probably be given very little credit, even though in many cases I told people to run, and they ran, and they turned out to be very good candidates. You know, they've turned out
He's
to
the
be
best to
very good
ever do it,
candidates.
man. I'm
I
sorry.
was like, bro, this is so good. I miss Trump. Listen, if they win, I get all the credit. If they lose, I get no credit. That's how it works.
I get no blame.
No blame.
But it's political bullshit.
People are just like, yeah, that's vibes.
I hate how funny he is. I've said it a million times, but he's so effortlessly funny. Like, even when he's
Troll.
not trying to be funny, he's so fucking funny. I mean, he's a piece of shit and I hate him, but he is funny. He's funny.
This was super interesting. If you go to our conservative, you'll see the subreddit in full-blown Trump mutiny. And this is so fascinating because these are Trump blowhards. I mean, since the Donald got banned.
Diehards or blowhards? Well, I guess both.
I don't know. They're
Yeah, both.
Yeah, they're both. So here's actually huge. These are super popular posts on our conservative. 1,300 points. Choosing Trump over DeSantis for 2024 is political suicide. 1,300 points. Trump only cares about Trump. Let's move past him and let DeSantis have his turn in the spotlight. I love that. Now they're like, Trump only cares about Trump.
You don't say.
You
don't say.
A red wave turned into a purple puddle thanks to an orange man. I love that now they're orange man bad. They made fun of libs like so hard. Orange man bad, but you just orange man baited. DeSantis is the new Republican Party leader.
Fox News wrote that.
These are all top posts on our conservative.
Yeah, they're mad. They are understandably very upset with Donald Trump. because Donald Trump's candidates that were handpicked were they were centered around Trump's narcissistic desires. One of the most important one being that the election was stolen from him somehow. And if you do that, then people are going to be like, well, you're not really giving me something. Especially Republicans, they're used to voting for people that give them something. And that something is carefully crafted messaging that over years and years and over white supremacist systems has been, the perceived enemy, right? Like immigrants, black people, brown people, homeless people. That is LGBT people. Like those are the perceived enemies of the Republican voter base, right? You can't really swing that to petty Donald Trump grievances, especially if Donald Trump is not on the ballot.
Yeah, these comments are pretty great. I like MAGA message, but now I'm having trouble with the MAGA messenger. Ooh. Oh, Trump needs to go. This is all on conservative. This was pure blasphemy only recently ago. They'd probably ban you. And I'm
Not only on our conservative, but these are flagged users, which our conservative, surprise, surprise, is like the most heavily moderated subreddit on Reddit. They ban everybody like instantly if you're not a conservative, and they verify users with those little tags. So you can see that these aren't trolls. These are like actual conservatives.
This is my favorite one. He goes, President Trump is claiming to have dirt on DeSantis and threatened to air his laundry if he bids for the White House. So it's like he's doing CNN and MSNBC's work for them. Oh, yeah, baby. I can't wait.
Here's the reality. If Trump is on the ballot, we're talking about a drastically different kind of math, okay? A lot of those DeSantis supporters will go for Trump.
It's going to be a bloodbath. He'll win, and he'll destroy DeSantis.
I think he has the capability, for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's about it, Hassan. I know you've got to.
Oh yeah.
You got to get going.
Yep.
But thank you for being here. I had a lot of fun, and hopefully this one won't get taken down. I don't see why.
I think we're good.
Yeah. I think
Who
we're
knows,
good.
man? Who knows with you? You're the most banned man in America.
I know.
All right. Well,
I accept that title. Not as banned as Crowder, though.
Evidently.
I'm not posting on
You
Rumble
don't have
yet.
to think about it, dude.
And one more time, ideology.himbo.
No, ideology.shop. IDELOGIE. Ideology.
Try and get that URL though.
Write it in the fucking.
Oh,
no, not
shit.
that.
God damn it.
IE instead of a Y. It's okay. You can get the Himbo Fitness merch that's
here.
slated to end soon. Nope, that's wrong.
Here,
It's
here,
okay.
Here.
Don't worry about it. All right, you got it.
I'll put it in. I'll put a link in the description. How about
There's
that?
Jack,
I got
beautiful
mine.
Himbo.
I'll rock mine tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
I want some too.
I didn't even
Where's
get
the
mine
hookup?
yet, bruh.
I'll talk to my merch.
I want
make
that
sure you get
union
that.
made shit, dude.
Hell yeah.
It's different.
It's very comfy. I'll tell you that much. Very cozy. I've heard 0 complaints.
Black Friday sale, Teddy Fresh, up to 70% off. Go fucking check it out. We'll be here tomorrow for After Dark. It's going to be fun. I'm about to get my hair done, so stay tuned for that.
I'm excited to see
It's
that.
going to be pretty crazy. And, well, thanks, Hassan. It was fun. Nice to see you. And we'll be back next week. So, anyway, and so then I said,
All right, so in this video, we have Bobby Lee on the Impulsive podcast, and Bobby was in full form for this podcast. He was really energetic. He was having a good time. He was whipping his junk out, and he was roasting everybody, but he was really going after George, Logan's co-host. And I think that's what Bobby usually does when he's on podcasts. He has like one person he singles out to like really go at. And this guy, George, is a comedian, so he should think of this as a sign of respect and like two friends goofing around. And he was being a good sport about it for a while, but then eventually I think he did start to get annoyed with Bobby. But Logan is the one that really pushed him over the edge because he brought up how George kind of checked out because he was being pretty quiet. And then that's when George walked off and they couldn't get him back on. So let's get into it here and see what caused all this. And like I said right from the beginning, Bobby was taking some shots at George, like in a friendly way. You know, it wasn't getting too serious. And Bobby even asked George to smell his dick. So I think that means he likes him, maybe. I don't know. But early on, it did seem like these two were just goofing around. And it was like two friends roasting each other.
Cool friends.
So
you have
this,
you have cool friends like this guy?
What
about him? No.
Yeah.
He's on the fence. This guy's on the fence.
Wait.
Super on the fence. Is he like mentally
Yes.
handicapped?
Yes.
Listen, I was gonna say the R word. That's reserved for you. Yeah. Say something. He's definitely R. But what? Can I just? Is that your girlfriend? It is. You know, it's so weird. Without fame, you wouldn't get that. Anyway,
it's weird. It's weird. You know what's
dude, if
weird?
you work at,
I know.
you do right. If you worked at a falafel place, there's no way.
Okay, so why a falafel?
So like I said, this is just normal stuff for Bobby on a podcast and like just any comedian on a podcast. They're going to be roasting each other. They're going to be goofing around. And all this is pretty harmless. I don't think George was offended by any of this. But what I thought might have gotten to him was when he went on this serious speech about how a few years ago he was depressed. And if he wasn't religious, he might have been suicidal. And Bobby didn't really take it that seriously. And then at the end of it, he's like, all right, you done? Like, that was way too long. So I'll play it for you here. And I did cut it up a little because it honestly was a little too long.
Recently was the hardest years of my life. I gained 40 pounds of weight. I was really, honestly, if I was not Christian, I'd probably be suicidal. And it was really, really bad. I never told anybody about it. And it was pissing me off because it was the most exciting years of my life. I was getting everything I've ever dreamt about. Money was no longer an issue. I'm holding on to things that I shouldn't be holding on to. For example,
Like
my
what?
career, my finances, my position in life. And when I realized that once you let it go and just really enjoy the moment and the journey of it and not be so scared of like, where am I going to be in 2 years from now? What am I going to be doing if this doesn't happen?
Because it's not real.
I'm
future is
stressing
not
about
real.
A mirage. And for me to like, dude, like I didn't even know I was going to be with my best friends doing a podcast where, and I don't mean this in a cocky way, but like, dude, this put me on a very strong map and it made a lot of my avenues blow up. So I'm
It's
very
like that's-
blessed, but I didn't know I was going to be here. So
It's
for
like
me,
that's. You done? It was just a long monologue.
He was just waiting.
And let me just say something. I loved what you were saying. It was just very long.
No,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
usually
yeah,
me.
yeah.
That's usually.
But you know, I got what you're saying, and you really inspired me, George. Can I say something?
Comedians suck.
No. Can
I
just-
hate comedians.
No, I want to say something.
Sebastian sucked, left me on red.
Yeah,
You
can I-
suck. First of all, don't touch me.
Yeah.
Do not
Okay,
touch
my
me.
bad, my bad.
Thank you.
All right, but yeah, we just need writers to edit that down. Like if we had a staff of writers, they'd be like, "Yeah, we'll cut that." But
I'm sorry.
essentially, it was a really good monologue.
Usually when I do my comedy, I don't have writers in the room. I actually write my own stuff.
Okay, I can tell.
I
But
like
maybe you should get a writer. But my point is,
But even after this, as you can see, he's laughing about it and he's still being a good sport. But what I think really pushed him over the edge, like I said in the beginning, was when Logan called him out for being quiet. And a lot of the comments are blaming this on Logan too, because he should have noticed that George might have been a little uncomfortable and maybe bringing it up wasn't the best idea. And Mike was actually being a good friend. He was like, yeah, I understand where he's coming from. He's had a rough day. And also Mike and some of the people in the comments are talking about how the seating arrangement isn't the best for George, like having him like by himself on one side of the guest and then Mike and Logan on the other side.
the 10. Right. Yep. I look like somebody drew me. Right? I look like I'm animated. And if you're into that, what's so funny, man? Bro, your look, dude. I don't even want to get into your look, dude. Okay.
Wait, why'd you break up with the
You're like if Oscar Isaac ate everything. That's what he looks like. If Oscar Isaac just ate everything, like in Dune, he ate all the sand, you would look like him. You don't look good either. He laughs.
I think he's tired of himself, bro. He gets a little further back every time I look.
He was
George,
supporting.
scoot up.
He was supporting your. He was supporting your joke by laughing.
Oh, he
And
was?
you
Oh, my bad. I attacked you for no
tried to
reason.
assault him.
Bobby.
Yeah. Real. Now we're doing real.
Yes.
Let's go back to the real. Okay. There are certain.
He is clocked out.
Yeah,
Oh, he's-
I know.
George has been under a tremendous amount of abuse.
No,
No, stop, George. I want you over here with me. George, I want you over here with me. Chase him down. Go. You find him. George, no, go get him. Go get him. I said this, he walked, and that's a first. And now we're going to have to deal with the fallout of this episode for the.
All right, so there's the walkout, and like I said, I think Logan is the one who really caused it. I mean, that was the final straw here, was when he said, like, oh yeah, George is clocked out. Like, if Logan didn't say that, I'm sure he would have been fine just sitting there. And, like, the only time he really did get to talk was when he gave that speech, and that did not go very well. Like, every other time, it's just Bobby goofing on him, and they would, like, have a little back and forth, but that was about it. He really didn't get to say much, so he's probably like, all right, I'll just sit here and let Bobby roast me. It's not that big of a deal. And then Logan called him out. He's just like, now he's making fun of me. Like, enough of this shit. So I think he's probably the most upset with Logan. You know, the stuff with Bobby, hopefully he didn't take it too seriously. Because also earlier on in this episode, Bobby talked about how this is the way he bonds with people, like making fun of them and goofing around.
And like, there's no victim because we're having a go.
You know, when I used to do this show called Opie and Anthony, and the first time I did it years ago, it was with Jim Norton, Greg Giraldo, Patrice O'Neill, all the like heavyweights in New York. And I would walk into the room and they would go, na 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 na, and we would laugh. I would make fun of them, how fat Patrice is, back and forth. It's a language that, you know, I understand. It's the way I bond with people. I kind of equate it to back in the day, hundreds of years ago, if you went to a city that had a dock, you know what I mean? Like, you know, a Seattle, and there were different people from different lands. Maybe people had different languages. The one way that people would be able to bond is make fun of each other, tease.
It is pretty funny, though, that he's talking about all this. Then, like, 25, 30 minutes later, George walks off. But I'm sure afterwards, him and Bobby are probably fine. Like I said, I think he's more upset with Logan here, especially at the end, because Logan's like, I don't know what happened with him. I mean, he should be able to take this. He's a comedian. But Mike's sticking up for him. He's like, I understand where he's coming from.
I, too, am confused.
I'm not. I'll be honest. I'm not, and I'm gonna tell the audience saying all this. He took a little abuse on this episode. You know, he got vulnerable.
See, I got too mean, and George and my guys over here, you guys have to check me.
No, but
It wasn't
too mean.
No, he's a comedian. He's a comedian. He's
thought
like,
he
we're all
could
just
handle
joking.
Well, it's just I've had a few rough days. We've been traveling.
Wait, has he done that before?
He's wanted to.
And he gets that sensitive.
Yeah.
Well, but can I keep defending him, please? Because no one's
Try.
Okay. That chair is a tough chair. The guest, you.
And I actually think this is all just payback, because when the Island Boys were on the show, George insulted them and made them walk.
Yeah, what are you trying to scare me or something? I'm not scared of you, homie.
All right, I'm not scared of you guys either.
Okay, so just keep it like that. Feel me?
I'm gonna step in for a second.
George,
Hold on.
keep talking?
No, hold on. No,
This is
hold
a
on.
podcast.
No,
Here, I'm moving for you. I was giving you nice advice, bro.
I agree with that.
Did I say anything mean?
So I think Bobby might have been doing this for the Island Boys. You know, he felt like they were disrespected, so he's getting revenge here. No, I don't know what's going on here. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments. Then hit the like button. Then hit the subscribe button. And I'll catch you at the next video.
What's up, guys? Streamer TV, and first up in the news we have Twitch. Now, November the 9th, Twitch Creator shared a blog post that detailed all the changes coming to VODs, video on demand, clips, and previous broadcasts, uploads, and highlights. The Amazon-owned live streaming platform announced that South Korea community would no longer be able to watch VODs clips from December the 13th. If you guys want to read the full blog post, the link is in the description, and you will have to translate the page before reading. And do you think that Twitch will implement this to US, UK, and EU? Let me know in the comment section below. Pokemon on users claim that Aiden Ross faked the swatting.
But now I know exactly who you are. You're 16 years old. I'm not going to say where you live. I'm not going to adopt you. But I promise to God, I'm going to make sure your parents pay for this shit, bro. Because their parents raised a stupid, naughty little shit, bro. Swear to God, bro.
His parents probably didn't raise him at all.
Yo, I'm scared, bro. I'm shaking right now.
I'm shaking too, bro. Yo, this is looking my worst nightmare, bro. I
Bro, listen, because they come in and
here with guns.
hold up,
$8,
bro.
bro.
They're gonna come with guns. They're probably just.
Why are people saying he's faking it? Why would anyone want to fake a
What is that
SWAT?
flash? Yo, that's the helicopter, bro.
Oh, that's scary.
Dude,
What the fuck did they say?
someone called, probably said that I'm people in here and doing crazy.
21 Savage roast Tramex TV.
Boy, you ugly as hell. I ain't finna bet you 20,000. I know you don't.
Wait,
win.
he said,
You
okay,
ain't
he
got
said
nothing to
21,000. He said, mean it if. Wait, okay, wait.
XQC gets a makeover.
Okay.
Okay, girl. What?
Girl.
Oh man, this is
Trippy,
something else.
you're something else.
He did a K-turn.
I do have to admit, my man is driving the fucking doors off that car, okay? Oh, didn't! Driving the
The K-turn.
I do have to admit, my man is driving the fucking doors off that car, okay? Oh, didn't!
This is scary. This is scary. A cul-de-sac, they're going to come face to face with the suspect, and you guys...
Bro, he's doing a K-turn! That's crazy! The audacity! The balls! He's gonna get hit. No shot, he doesn't. No way! Y'all suck! You cops suck! That's crazy! Bro! He did a K-turn! He did a 3-point K-turn! Yo! NA cops!
After 2 hours, 3 cars, a combined 300k concurrent viewers, the police chase has come to an end.
Damn, what the he's fine. The most sane Cowboys fan in America. What the
It's had 9 lives.
I'm sorry. I'm speechless.
That's
I mean, this is
unbelievable
just...
to me.
You know,
I never thought we'd see him walk out of that. It doesn't mean he's not hurt. He may be shot. He may be bleeding.
But he's walking.
But he's walking. He's alive.
Incredible.
chat? This cost you, the taxpayers, $2 billion.
He hit a number of people on the road. We have to investigate that. So that Jeep has me concerned.
That's true.
The new Among Us VR.
To kill green, so then here I will report. Fix sabotage.
Guys, we gotta fix the sabotage. I don't want to lose again.
What is the code? That.
Great, you got it. Nice work.
Who did sabotage? I was gonna get it.
Toes tries to do his task, but Pink calls a meeting.
This is me clapping my hands.
Oh, come on. Oh, come on. We just started the game.
Come on, Ping. What is it, huh?
What do you want?
I like chicken nuggets.
Yeah, we should
Vote him out. Vote him out. Vote.
E-Rob getting cucked.
And Chase is going to be your teammate for today.
Yay! I love your dog.
I love you.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay.
Yeah, okay. Very good. Yeah, please, Britt, if you could stand right there. My name.
Dating advice from a league Forzen.
If my job is League of Legends and my biggest interest in life is League of Legends, wouldn't it be dumb to not bring it up on a date? Like, of course I'm gonna talk about Sion. Of course I'm gonna talk about, like, you know, of course I'm gonna talk about my rank. No shit. What else? Like, what?
XQC left Texas due to swatting incident at Soda, NP Lowell's and Melena's house.
I don't know how much they leaked about it, right? The incident at Chance's house. The way I felt about it is that I just felt like me being there just put everybody around me in danger. So I was like, you know, it's just not fucking worth it. And then I was like, it's just full reset.
Canute shows how to fix a CPU.
Can barely see what direction they should be bent.
Squeaks open up about his chat being extremely toxic towards him.
Like, I don't want to look silly all the time. Like, I want to be taken seriously as a streamer and a speedrunner. And sometimes you guys will say stuff that'll really actually get to me. You know what I mean? Yours truly, Princess Toadstool. Peach. And like, I want to be like, not your clown. You know what I mean? I want to be like someone who's able to perform and like do things that are cool and have like really nice moments. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, I don't want to just be a big joke. Alright, here we go. Yo, Willow, thanks for the raid. Here we go.
Drake bets 121,000 against Cole.
Like you want to bet some money.
How about this? This is my bet to you. I'm gonna put up 121K. If you win, I'll pay you 121K. But if 21 wins, then me and you have to do something for the kids. Wherever we gotta figure out, like we gotta just do something. We gotta go and just get back somehow.
Let's do it! Yeah.
If you guys enjoyed this video, feel free to drop a like, and if you want to keep up with the latest news and clips, be sure to subscribe and turn notifications on, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Alright, Lanka, here we go.
So the archaeological site that I want to cover today is truly one of the most amazing sites in all of the land of the Bible. And it doesn't get visited very often, mainly because it's in the Palestinian area known as the West Bank. The historical source that we need to use in order to understand this place is the Gospel of John. In John chapter 4, Jesus leaves Jerusalem to travel back to Galilee when he came to a town in Samaria called Sychar. Verse 6 informs us that Jacob's well was there. From ancient Jerusalem, Jacob's well is located around 41 miles to the north, in the valley below Mount Gerizim, and near the ancient city of Shechem. Today, Jacob's well and the ruins of Shechem are in the Palestinian city of Nablus. The location of Jacob's well is marked today by the church that has been built over it. John 4:6 says, Jesus, tired as he was from the journey, sat down by the well. You've been traveling all through the country, right? You're going to continue traveling through the country. If there is one place where you can get it the most specific. Jesus was right here. It's Jacob's well. He was right here. Does this well match the text? The John 4 account continues when a Samaritan woman came to draw water, and Jesus asked her for a drink. Then Jesus offers the woman a drink of living water, to which she replies, "Sir," the woman said, "you have nothing to draw with, and the well is deep." The Samaritan woman says, of this well, the well is deep. Now, just next to Jacob's well and just to the north of it are the ruins from the Old Testament period city of Shechem. And G. Ernest Wright excavated there, and during his excavations, he also measured Jacob's well and found it to be 151 feet deep. We need to go over how we know that that is Jacob's well. One of the strong evidences for this is this archaeological phenomenon that you find with authentic sites of one thing being built on top of another. And definitely we have this at Jacob's well. Today we have the modern church built over the well. Before that, we know there was a Crusader church. Before the Crusader church, there was an early Byzantine church. And the mosaic floors from this Byzantine church also have been exposed and can be seen at the site today. This well for a very long time has been commemorated as Jacob's well, and so what has been left behind is the archaeology for that and these stacked layers one on top of another, pointing to this well, saying this is the authentic site that John 4 is talking about. So the way that these biblical locations like Jacob's well were remembered over time is through the knowledge of the locals who passed on the location of these sites and what they were from generation to generation. And a great example of how this works is found in John chapter 4 itself. In John 4:12, the Samaritan woman asked Jesus, "Are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us the well and drank from it himself, as did also his sons and his flocks and herds?" It's been some 1,800 years since the time of Jacob and his sons, and yet we see the Samaritan woman knows who it is that dug the well that she's getting water from. How is this possible? Well, the locals have passed this knowledge down from generation to generation, so that 1,800 years later, the locals understand who dug this well. I mean, when you're there looking at the well, looking down in the well, it is hard to comprehend. This was dug by Jacob himself, by his sons, the sons of Israel. We have here the reality that the history of this well is retained by the local knowledge and the biblical text all the way from when it was dug by Jacob and his sons, all the way to the time that Jesus speaks to the Samaritan woman, and then all the way to the time where Christians are visiting the site, writing about it, and building a commemorative church over the top of it. Now, the other thing that helps the locals to retain the knowledge of this well is that they continue to use it century after century after century. In the land of the Bible, the need for water is great. And so when you have access to that water, then certainly you use it from generation to generation. As an example of this, I was doing a film called The Soul Shepherd, and for this film, I spent 2.5 years hanging out with Bedouin shepherds. And so one day I was with a shepherd, and I was in this very remote area, and he stopped to water his flock at this ancient well. I could tell by looking at it that it was very ancient. And so, being an archaeologist, I walked around the outside of the well and collected the pottery, which showed that that well had been in use for over 3,000 years. This is the same case with Jacob's well. It was in use for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. It was in use from the time Jacob and his sons dug it until the Samaritan woman came to it to draw water. And then even in the pictures from the late 1800s, we see that women are still coming to this well to draw water and take it back to their families. So if the well would have gone out of use for a long period of time, maybe it would have been forgotten. But because it's connected to these ancient texts, to Scripture, and because it's used generation after generation, the knowledge of that well, who dug it, and what happened there in the time of Jesus in the Roman period was retained by the local knowledge. Now it's important to note that, that the Old Testament doesn't mention Jacob's well by name. However, it does give an account for Jacob living in the area. Genesis 33:18 through 19 says, "After Jacob came from Padan Aram, he arrived safely at the city of Shechem in Canaan and camped within sight of the city. For 100 pieces of silver, he bought from the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem, the plot of ground where he pitched his tent." The archaeology is the study of the ancients from what's been left behind. So in reading this verse, what would we expect to be left behind? Well, certainly we would expect the ruins from the city of Shechem to be left behind, and we know where those are. They've been excavated several times. However, it becomes a problem when you're talking about people who lived in tents. Nomadic people living in tents don't tend to leave very much behind. They don't have very much to leave behind. I grew up around Bedouin. I've been around Bedouin for most of my life, and I can assure you that it is difficult to figure out where Bedouin camped a couple of weeks ago, much less 4,000 years ago. And so we have this dilemma. How do you know where Jacob camped 3,800 years ago? He lives in tents. Well, there is an exception. If he and his sons dug a 151-foot hole down through the bedrock to get access to the water, then that would be left behind. And so amazingly, since we know where this site is, Jacob's well, from John chapter 4, we also can connect it back to Genesis 33 and know where Jacob bought this land and where he pitched his tent. It's very significant, this land that Jacob purchased for 100 pieces of silver, because it is at Shechem that Abram, Jacob's grandfather, first came, and at least in the land of Canaan was first promised that your descendants will inherit the land of Canaan. And here we have the grandson of Abram, Jacob, possessing this land, buying this plot of land where he pitched his tent in Genesis chapter 33. And so where is that? It's where Jacob's well would be located. Why? Because you don't buy a piece of land, put your tents up there with your huge flocks, and then go dig a well 151 feet through the ground somewhere else. You would do it at the place, at the plot of ground that you bought. When we look at where the location of Jacob's well is, which is given to us because it's under this modern church, and we look at the ruins of Shechem, we see that indeed it fits this Genesis 33 account in that it is definitely within sight of the city. So I want the women to come forward, and we're going to get some water out of the well. Go ahead and grab this and just start lowering it. Okay. Yeah, so I see it's in the water now. Okay, now bring it the other way. Now you can see that it was no easy task for the Samaritan woman to come here maybe more than one time a day to get water. She had to walk from her house with this big jar and go down to Jacob's well, lower it down, fill it with water, pull it up 151 feet, put it on her head, would have been very heavy, and then carry it back to her house. And so when she came to the well and Jesus was sitting there, Jesus knew precisely what to talk to her about, and he talked to her about water. Jesus answered, "Everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again, but whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst. Indeed, the water I give them will become in them a spring of water welling up to eternal life." The woman said to him, "Sir, give me this water, so that I won't get thirsty and have to keep coming here to draw water. Now the thing about shepherds watering their flocks at a well is it's not wearisome for the animals themselves. The animals can't get a drink. A sheep can't get a drink out of a well. It's the shepherd that does all the work. In order for the animals to drink, the shepherd has to get the water and give them a drink. This is what's happening in the story of Jesus and the Samaritan woman. Jesus is offering her this drink of living water. She can't drink living water on her own. She needs to be offered that drink. Jesus says, "Yet a time is coming and has now come when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. God is spirit, and his worshipers must worship in spirit and in truth." The woman said, "I know that Messiah called Christ is coming. When he comes, he will explain everything to us." Then Jesus declared, "I who speak to you am he," saying when the Messiah comes, he's going to explain everything. And Jesus says, "The one that's sitting here talking to you, I am he." And so this is where Jesus offers this drink to the Samaritan woman of living water. And how does she drink it? She drinks it by believing that he is who he claims to be. We can't access the living water. We can't get eternal life for ourselves. We need Jesus to do the work and then offer us the drink. When we come to believe in Jesus, then he pours out the Holy Spirit, and we worship God through the Spirit and truth, and we have what guarantees the inheritance of eternal life. To dig deeper, you can order a copy of my book, which has been a #1 bestseller in archaeology. Just click the link in the description below this video.
Ground in 18... Russian novelist Fyodor Dostoevsky wrote Notes from Underground in 1864, which is considered to be one of the first existentialist works, emphasizing the importance of freedom, responsibility, and individuality. It is an extraordinary piece of literature, social critique, and satire of the Russian nihilist movement, as well as a novel with deep psychological insights on the nature of man. It is no wonder that Nietzsche wrote, "Dostoevsky, the only psychologist from whom I have anything to learn. He ranks amongst the most beautiful strokes of fortune in my life." Dostoevsky's most sustained and spirited attack on the Russian nihilist movement is voiced by one of the darkest, least sympathetic of all his characters, the nameless narrator and protagonist known as the Underground Man, revealing the hopeless dilemmas in which he lands as a result. Notes from Underground attempts to warn people of several ideas that were gaining ground in the 1860s, including moral and political nihilism, rational egoism, determinism, utilitarianism, utopianism, atheism, and what would become communism. As we'll see, many of these themes are alluded to in the novel. But before delving into Notes from Underground, we must first observe the historical context in which it was written, in order to better understand Dostoevsky's warning. In 1862, Ivan Turgenev published one of the most acclaimed Russian novels of the century, Fathers and Sons, where the characters talk about a strange new philosophy called nihilism, which became popular with the Russian youth. It had previously been synonymous with skepticism, which transformed into moral and political nihilism. A nihilist is a man who does not bow down before any authority, who does not take any principle on faith, whatever reverence that principle may be enshrined in. The nihilist characters define themselves as those who deny everything, representing the negation of all pre-existing ideals. Rational egoism emerged as the dominant social philosophy of the Russian nihilist movement, proposing that we are only rational if we maximize our own self-interest, sharing similarities with utilitarianism, which seeks to maximize utility, such as well-being or happiness, for all individuals. Jeremy Bentham, the founder of utilitarianism, actually came up with a mathematical formula to calculate happiness called the hedonic calculus, to measure the amount of pleasure and pain any given action would result in order to predict human behavior merely by rationality. Dostoevsky saw the rise of rational egoism as a genuine danger, because by glorifying the self, it could turn the minds of impressionable young people away from sound values and push them in the direction of a true, immoral, destructive egoism. The following line perfectly captures this mindset. I say let the world go to hell, but I should always have my tea. After his trip around Europe, Dostoevsky wrote that what predominates in the Western culture is a principle of individuality, a principle of isolation, intense self-preservation, of personal egoism, self-definition in terms of one's own I. In placing this I in opposition to all nature and all other people, as an autonomous, independent principle, completely equal and equally valuable to everything that exists outside it. In contrast to this, Dostoevsky calls for a return to the soil, emphasizing the value of family, religion, personal responsibility, and brotherly love, in which each individual feels himself a part of all and is ready to sacrifice himself for the other. Dostoevsky champions this conscious self-sacrifice, which cannot spring from any calculations of self-interest. The underground man is under the influence of egoistic individualism, considering himself as an educated man, a modern intellectual who has lost all capacity for selfless moral feeling. As he writes in the footnote appended to the title of his novel, both the author of the notes and the notes themselves are, of course, fictitious. Nevertheless, such persons as the author of such memoirs not only may, but must exist in our society if we take into consideration the circumstances which led to the formation of our society. Notes from Underground was written as a response to the spokesman of Russian radicals, Nikolai Chernyshevsky, who wrote a novel entitled What Is to Be Done in 1863. In the novel, he shares Rousseau's idea that despite man's flaws, he is innately good and amenable to reason, but is somehow corrupted by society, so that, once enlightened as to his true interests, reason and science would ultimately enable him to construct a perfect society, that is, a society created out of sheer rational calculations of self-interest, would lose the very possibility of doing evil. Thus, rational egoism is the basis for the development of a utopian society. Their dream is to build a well-ordered society for predictably acting human beings. This utopia is symbolized by the Crystal Palace, which represents the quintessential achievement of humanity, where all problems will be solved. Chernyshevsky writes that if we all followed the radical socialist way, we could turn society into a crystal palace. He also proposed a belief in absolute determinism or lack of free will, which Dostoevsky brilliantly criticizes with his Underground Man. In Chernyshevsky's novel, while talking about the greatness of rational egoism, one of the characters asks rhetorically, "Do you hear that in your underground hole?" 1 year later, Dostoevsky published Notes from Underground. Dostoevsky believed that man was innately irrational, capricious and destructive, and not reason but only faith in Christ could ever succeed in helping him to master the chaos of his impulses. Atheism was on the rise, and Dostoevsky saw this as disastrous for society, emphasizing the necessity of belief in Christ. After his death, what he had warned us against had become a reality, foreseeing the rise of the totalitarian state, which he also discusses in his novel Demons, an allegory of the catastrophic consequences of political and moral nihilism that were becoming prevalent in his time. The ideology of Marx gave way to communism, implemented by Lenin and Stalin, making people believe that it was possible to create a perfect society without God, a golden age, where everything is provided in abundance and equally for everyone. eliminating suffering once and for all. The totalitarian states ended up justifying murder in the name of their ideology, leading to the bloodshed of the 20th century. Unfortunately, we have not learned from our mistakes. As Hegel wrote, we learn from history that we do not learn from history. Today we are plagued with a mass mania in the West, where crimes against humanity are hidden under the often attractive cloaks of progress, attempting again to create a utopia. The underground man is the quintessential anti-hero, a bitter, lonely, and self-hating 40-year-old retired civil servant living underground, or as in the original Russian text, in a sort of crawl space, not big enough for a human and where bugs and rodents roam. This explains why he calls himself a mouse. Here he has been staying for years, listening to people through a crack under the floor, writing these notes from underground. However, the underground can be best seen as a metaphor, representing his profound alienation from society. He lives locked away underground, and these are his confessions. I am a sick man. I am a spiteful man. I am an unattractive man. I believe my liver's diseased. No, I refuse to consult a doctor from spite. That you probably will not understand. My liver's bad. Well, let it get worse. We are introduced to the strange behavior and psychological distress of the underground man right from the start. He calls himself sick, then spiteful, then unattractive, and finally says that he has a liver problem. He is constantly revising himself in order to please his imaginary audience, but is unable to characterize himself properly. We can see, however, that he's not acting to promote his own best interests as dictated by rational egoism. He writes, "In reality, I never could become spiteful. I was conscious every moment in myself of many, very many elements absolutely opposite to that. I knew that they had been swarming in me all my life and craving some outlet from me, but I would not let them, purposely would not let them come out. They tormented me till I was ashamed. They drove me to convulsions and sickened me. At last, how they sickened me." The underground man seems to be nothing more than a chaos of conflicting emotional impulses, and his conflict may be defined as that of his search for his own character, his quest to find himself, as he does not know who he is. This plagues him. However, he knows that this is his normal condition, and that there's no way to escape it. As such, he tries to detach himself from reality in the world of literature, spending most of his time reading and being utterly disappointed when facing the real world. As he says, "I could not speak, except as though I was reading from a book." At other times, he gives incredibly lucid insights into the human psyche. Every man has reminiscences which he would not tell to everyone, but only to his friends. He has other matters in his mind which he would not reveal even to his friends, but only to himself, and that in secret. But there are other things which a man is afraid to tell even to himself, and every decent man has a number of such things stored away in his mind. The more decent he is, the greater the number of such things in his mind. Dostoevsky distinguishes between two types of men, the man of action and the man of acute consciousness. The underground man is extremely envious of the man of action, he who lives life without ruminating too much on his thoughts. He has a lower intellectual capacity that frees him from the questions and torments of one's consciousness, while the underground man is paralyzed by his thoughts. Dostoevsky gives us an analogy with a stone wall, which represents scientific determinism. One has to accept these laws as the truth without questioning them. 2 times 2 makes 4, and anyone who says otherwise is foolish. This represents a barrier to one's free will. When faced with revenge, the man of action dashes straight for his object like an infuriated bull with his horns down, for he seeks justice. But when he stumbles upon the stone wall, he is genuinely surprised and unable to speak. The wall is not an evasion, it is simply what renders his activity impossible. The underground man, on the other hand, tries to come up with all sorts of tricks, and instead of admitting defeat and turning around, he smashes his head against the wall, while knowing the futility of his actions. Of course, I cannot break through the wall by battering my head against it if I really have not the strength to knock it down, but I am not going to be reconciled to it simply because it is a stone wall and I have not the strength, as though such a wall really were a consolation. Every course of action seems insufficient, and so he is paralyzed, or as Dostoevsky puts it, he finds himself stuck in a state of inertia, only able to think but unable to act. He suffers the greatest ailment of all, consciousness. To think too much is a disease. This best describes the underground man's state of mind. He is stuck in his own reflective hyper-consciousness, thus creating a greater accumulation of spite than in the man of action. The result is that the intellectual is unable to do anything, and is thus characterless. He writes, "I did not know how to become anything, neither spiteful nor kind, neither a rascal nor an honest man, neither a hero nor an insect. Now I am living out my life in my corner, taunting myself with a spiteful and useless consolation that an intelligent man cannot become anything seriously, and it is only the fool who becomes anything." He is aware of his flaws, while the man of action is content in his foolishness and believes that he is great. The underground man finds solace as he is smarter than all of the people he meets, but socially they are all well above him. His vanity convinces him of his own intellectual superiority, and he despises everybody. But when he realizes that he cannot rest without their recognition of his superiority, he hates others for their indifference and falls into self-loathing at his own humiliating dependence. The underground man considers the man of action as the real normal man, while he sees himself as a product born out of a test tube. He calls himself a mouse, though nobody tells him he's one. It is as if he has constructed a hell out of his own internal ruminations. The luckless mouse succeeds in creating around it so many other nastinesses in the form of doubts, emotions, and of the contempt spat upon it by the direct man of action. Of course, the only thing left for it is to dismiss all that with a wave of its paw, and, with a smile of assumed contempt in which it does not even itself believe, creep ignominiously into its mouse hole. There in its nasty, stinking underground home, our insulted, crushed, and ridiculed mouse promptly becomes absorbed in cold, malignant, and above all, everlasting spite. For 40 years together, it will remember its injury down to the smallest, most ignominious details, and every time will add of itself details still more ignominious, spitefully teasing and tormenting itself with its own imagination. The underground man essentially buries himself alive with spite, but there's a twist. He goes on to say that in that state of despair, dissatisfaction, and hopelessness is precisely where he finds his enjoyment. Although he notes that people most likely won't understand anything of it, he thinks that man is cursed with consciousness, but at the same time it is what allows free will and individuality. With consciousness, man must suffer, but without consciousness, man will never be free. A clear critique of determinism. Whatever happened, happened in accordance with the normal and fundamental laws of intensified consciousness, and by sort of inertia, which is a direct consequence of those laws. And, therefore, you could not only not change yourself, but you simply couldn't make any attempt to. The underground man finds an irrational pleasure in suffering, even in his painful toothache, which makes him moan maliciously in order to make other people around him suffer, giving him pleasure. Not only is he a sadist, but he also confesses his masochism. I felt a sort of secret, abnormal, contemptible delight when, on coming home on one of the foulest nights in Petersburg, I used to realize intensely that again I had been guilty of some dastardly action that day, and inwardly, secretly, I used to go nagging myself, worrying myself, accusing myself, till at last the bitterness I felt turned into a sort of shameful, damnable sweetness, and finally into real positive delight. Yes, into delight. The feeling of delight was there just because I was so intensely aware of my own degradation. The essence of his activity is simply the result of being plagued with boredom, and with a heightened consciousness, he cannot stop thinking. I invented adventures for myself and made up a life, so at least to live in some way. How many times it has happened to me? Well, for instance, to take offense simply on purpose, for nothing. And one knows oneself, of course, that one is offended at nothing, that one is putting it on, but yet one brings oneself at last to the point of being really offended. While the underground man is committed to the principles of rational egoism, he is simultaneously an opponent of it throughout the whole novel. His conflict arises from the clash between human nature and the laws of nature. While his reason assures him that there is nothing he can really do to change for the better, he refuses to abdicate his consciousness to determinism. He wants to preserve his individuality and go against the comfortable predictability of life. What is to be done with the millions of facts that bear witness that men, consciously, that is fully understanding their real interests, have left them in the background and have rushed headlong on another path to meet peril and danger? And what if it so happens that a man's advantage sometimes not only may, but even must, consist in his desiring in certain cases what is harmful to him and not advantageous? The underground man writes that man is by no means a rational animal, and that he will always rebel against the idea of a utopia, to act in a way that goes against his self-interest, simply to validate his existence and confirm his individuality. Man is monstrously ungrateful. In fact, he writes that the best definition of man is the ungrateful biped. But that is not his worst defect. His worst defect is his constant deviation from moral order. One should only take a quick glance at the history of mankind to observe this. He writes, one may say anything about the history of the world, anything that might enter the most disordered imagination. The only thing one can't say is that it's rational. The underground man says that man would sacrifice all his advantages just to be independent and choose for himself. And only the devil knows what he'll choose. Man would even desire what is injurious to him, what is stupid, very stupid, simply in order to have the right to decide for himself. This caprice of ours may in reality be more advantageous for us than anything else on earth. He calls it a most advantageous advantage, which does not fit in any system, and for which one even sacrifices happiness, health, prosperity, and security, simply in order to preserve for us what is most precious and most important, that is, our personality, our individuality. He writes, apropos of nothing, in the midst of general prosperity, a gentleman with an ignoble, or rather with a reactionary and ironical countenance, were to rise and, putting his arms akimbo, say to us all, I say, gentlemen, hadn't we better kick over the whole show and scatter rationalism to the winds, simply to send these logarithms to the devil, and to enable us to live once more at our own sweet foolish will? The underground man does not criticize reason per se, but rather a completely one-sided, rationalistic view of the world, which does not satisfy one's impulses and desires, that form a realm much wider than reason, and much closer to the human condition. A person always, and in every way, prefers to act in the way they feel like acting, and not in the way that their reason and interest tell them. Shower upon man every earthly blessing, drown him in a sea of happiness, so that nothing but bubbles of bliss can be seen on the surface. Give him economic prosperity, such that he should have nothing else to do but sleep, eat cakes, and busy himself with the continuation of his species. And even out of sheer ingratitude, sheer spite, man would play you some nasty trick, simply in order to prove to himself, as though that were so necessary, that men still are men and not the keys of a piano, which the laws of nature threaten to control so completely that soon one will be able to desire nothing but by the calendar. Dostoevsky attacks the idea that greater rationality leads to greater human progress and happiness. It is an attempt to see life as a mathematical formula to be followed, in order to align man with society's best interests. Man is not a piano key. He cannot simply discover the laws of nature so that he will have found all the answers to his problems. A world in which everything will be so clearly calculated and explained that choices would cease to exist. life would become extraordinarily dull, and man will act against reason in order to prove his free will, so that 2 times 2 equals 5. And if he does not find the means, he will contrive destruction, chaos, and sufferings of all sorts. If one says that this too can be calculated and tabulated, so that the mere possibility of calculating it all beforehand would stop it all, and reason would reassert itself, then man would purposely go mad in order to be rid of reason and gain his point. Dostoevsky observed this madness firsthand in his fellow prisoners when he was sent to a prison labor camp in Siberia. He describes a prisoner's sudden violent outburst as simply the poignant hysterical craving for self-expression, the unconscious yearning for himself, the desire to assert himself, to assert his crushed person, a desire which suddenly takes possession of him and reaches the pitch of fury, of spite, of mental aberration, of fits and nervous convulsions. The rational egoists would have to admit that human action is radically unpredictable and that their program is doomed to failure. Man likes to make roads and to create, that is a fact beyond dispute. But why has he such a passionate love for destruction and chaos also? May it not be that he loves chaos and destruction because he's instinctively afraid of attaining his object and completing the edifice he is constructing? Who knows? Perhaps he only loves that edifice from a distance, and is by no means in love with it at close quarters. Perhaps he only loves building it, and does not want to live in it. In fact, man is a comical creature. There seems to be a kind of jest in it all. This edifice refers to the Crystal Palace, to reach the literal end of history, when all further striving, struggle, and inner conflict will have ceased. He writes, I rejected the Crystal Palace myself for the sole reason that one would not be allowed to stick out one's tongue at it. Dostoevsky says that man will never renounce to suffering, destruction and chaos, and that it is also sometimes very pleasant to smash things. Man is sometimes extraordinarily, passionately in love with suffering. That is a fact. We want happiness, but we have a special talent for making ourselves miserable. Man is like a chess player who loves the process of the game, but not the end of it. Trying to abolish suffering and replace it with everlasting happiness only sinks us deeper into it. Man needs suffering as much as he needs happiness. Which is better, cheap happiness or sublime suffering? Well, come on, which is better? I hope you enjoyed this video. You can support the channel on Patreon or by liking, commenting or sharing the content. Thank you for watching.
Today's video is brought to you by Wondrium, which is helping you sate your curiosity about, well, everything. It's where you'll find answers to literally everything you've ever wanted to learn about, and maybe some stuff that you never even thought about learning about. And when I say everything, we mean it. There's Ivy League professors basically handing out an expert education in classical Greco-Roman history or philosophy or astronomy. There's also brilliant tutorials, travelogues, documentaries. It really does seem to never end. Obviously, if you've watched my channels, then you guess that I see myself as a bit of a lifelong learner, and that's at the heart of why I love Wondrium. There's always new stuff to explore, new challenges to master. An empty afternoon, slow weekends, perfect chance to dive into a new section of content and learn something that you'd never thought about learning before. we always try to make recommendations for cool Wondrium courses that you can check out. So, one thing to check out, which is a trending series right now on Wondrium, is Decisive Battles of History, which is a 36-part lecture series that explains and contextualizes some of the biggest conflicts in human history. Look, the bottom line is this: if you're curious by nature, you just have to head over to Wondrium. And right now, you guys can head to wondrium.com/sideprojects for a free trial to check it out. That's wondrium.com/sideprojects, or just follow the link in the description box below. I highly recommend it. And now today's video. The Bible is the best-selling book of all time, with an estimated 5 billion copies ever being produced and sold. The importance that the Bible has had in shaping human history couldn't be overstated, but there are many different interpretations of the book. To some, the Bible is the work of God, with every word meant to be taken literally. To others, it's a combination of history and parables, figurative metaphors intended to teach some moral lesson rather than being treated as literal events. And of course, to many people, it's nothing more than a work of fiction. Despite controversy over the contents of the book, scholars generally agree that Jesus was a real historical figure. The consensus is that he was baptized by John the Baptist, debated Jewish authorities on the subject of God, and was crucified by Pontius Pilate, the 5th governor of the Roman province of Judea. All other aspects of the life of the historical Jesus are much more contested. In addition to writings by Christians, Jesus, his followers, and his crucifixion are mentioned by several Roman historians as well, such as Pliny the Younger and Tacitus. However, though these historical references have brought about a general consensus on the existence of the historical Jesus, there isn't actually any direct evidence. No relic or artifact that is claimed to be tied to Jesus is proven to be authentic. But the Bible is a big book, and there's lots of stuff going on in it, and much of the Old Testament is intended as a historical record of the origins of the Israelites. It's no surprise then that discoveries have been found that confirm parts of the book to be based in fact rather than in fiction. Menepetar, the son of Ramesses the Great, was an Egyptian pharaoh for 10 years during the late 13th century BC. In 1896, an inscription was found in Thebes that became known as the Menepetar Stele. The stele was 28 lines long and chronicled Menepetar's victory over the ancient Libyans. However, the last 3 lines of the stele shift away from the Libyans into the region of Canaan. In this section, it is stated that Israel is laid waste. This inscription is the oldest non-biblical reference to Israel and the only reference from ancient Egypt. This was a massive discovery, as the Old Testament is largely viewed by historians as more of a national myth than an accurate historical chronicle by the Israelites. Thanks to the discovery of the Menepetar Stele, it is known that Israel was its own nation with its own culture, occupying a land in Canaan as far back as at least the 13th century BC. Aside from Jesus, no character in the Bible has as much depth and character development as King David. David was essentially a nobody. His family was not wealthy or important, and he was the smallest of 8 brothers. Following a message from God, David was secretly named Israel's true king before going on to become its greatest king. David conquered Jerusalem, which was then made Israel's political and cultural center. He annexed the coastal lands, and he defeated the Philistines with such severity that they would never dare threaten the Israelites again. And for a long time, scholars believed that he was entirely fictitious. In 1993, an archaeological team was studying Tel Dan, a city from ancient Israel. In the research, they discovered remnants of a stone wall. The wall bore an inscription, though the entire inscription did not remain intact. It was written in Aramaic, and it details victories over 2 kings of Israel. The first name is partially cut off, but it almost certainly reads Jehoram, son of Ahab. The other king does not appear to be mentioned by name, only identified as the king of the house of David. The Tel Dan inscription is dated to the 9th century BC, and this simple message of battle corroborates many passages from the Bible. To start, the house of David would mean the lineage of King David. This was only written roughly 150 years after King David would have died, which seems like too short of a time for someone to fraudulently attempt to establish a noble family lineage to a king that never even existed. It's not definitive proof that King David existed, but it certainly is evidence that it's more likely true than not. The inscription also points to other passages from the Book of Kings being true as well. Though Aramaic was common amongst the Israelites, the government and the wealthier citizens predominantly wrote in Hebrew. Had this conflict come from within the nation of Israel, the inscription surely would have been in Hebrew. According to the Bible, Joram was killed by the Aramean king Hazael, whose language would have been Aramaic. The dates of Hazael's reign line up with the date of the Tel Dan inscription, so the biblical Book of Kings is likely more fact than fiction. King Solomon is portrayed as a wise, powerful, and wealthy king of Israel. Like David, he was one of the 48 Jewish prophets. Also like David, there was a healthy dispute over whether or not Solomon ever existed. Regardless of whether Solomon existed, both sides generally agreed that the lavishness of the Israelite empire during this time period is an exaggeration. It's also unlikely that the story of Solomon's judgment, in which he proposed cutting a baby in half to deduce who the real mother was, is an historical event. There were many similar stories in folklore from that region, and while the account of Solomon is the oldest written example, others could have predated it in oral tradition. Archaeological excavations at the settlements of Azor, Gezer, and Megiddo have uncovered 6 chambered gates that allegedly date back to the 10th century BC, when biblical chronology states that Solomon would have been king. These gates would provide evidence of the impressive construction that the Bible claims took place under Solomon's reign. There is some disagreement on the dating of these gates, particularly at Gezer, with some scholars believing that they were built centuries later. There are no references to King Solomon in any historical texts outside of the Bible, something that could call his entire existence into question. However, this is not necessarily meaningful on its own. One of the things that made Solomon's reign so unusual was that it was a time of peace, with no wars or battles fought at all. Records from 3,000 years ago are scarce to begin with, and if King Solomon wasn't leading an army into battle against anyone, there wouldn't have been much of note for those outside of Israel to write about. These 3 gates may not provide as strong evidence for the existence of Solomon as the Tel Dan inscription did for the existence of David, but if they are indeed from the 10th century BC, then they corroborate much of the Bible's text regarding the construction and renovation that took place under Solomon's reign, even if these projects weren't quite as extravagant as the Bible may make them out to be. In 1868, the Merbite stone was found at the ancient site of Dibon in what is modern-day Dibon in Jordan. A papier-mâché impression of the stone was made on behalf of an archaeologist based in Jerusalem. At the time, the area was being heavily scoured for any evidence that would prove the historical accuracy of the Bible. When word got out about the Merbite stone, France, England, and Germany all set forth trying to acquire the valuable piece of history. The Bani Hamida tribe, who were in possession of the stone, didn't like the idea of these other nations coming in and laying claim to the artifact, so in an act of defiance, they smashed it into several pieces and sold it on the antiquities market. Many of these pieces have been recovered, though not all of them. So why is the Merbite stone so important? The translation of the stone has been updated several times to become more accurate, but the general meaning remains the same. The 34 lines of text begin, "I am Mesha, son of Chemosh-Gad, king of Moab." The stone is most likely a victory stone designed to explain who Mesha was and to outline his military victories. In the text, Mesha tells of his war against the Israelites and their king, Jehoram. This same war is outlined in the Bible's Book of Kings. The accounts aren't identical, but if anything, this highlights their authenticity as being depictions of the same conflict from opposing viewpoints. The Merbite stone emphasizes Mesha's victories over Israel and the capturing of cities. On the other hand, the Bible places the emphasis on Israel's successful counterattacks against the Moabites. These two accounts don't contradict one another. They simply tell the opposing sides of the same story, with each side playing up their own victories and ignoring their own defeats. This provides further evidence that much of the Old Testament history of the Israelites may indeed be an accurate telling of events as told from their point of view, even if some details, particularly in regards to King Solomon, were exaggerated. Though there was thought to be some truth to it, the Book of Exodus has long been considered by scholars to be the founding myth of the Israelites rather than a particularly historical account. The book follows the exodus of the Israelites out of Egypt and into the promised land of Canaan. We know from the Meneptah Stele that the Israelites had established themselves in Canaan by the 13th century. But how much of what happened before then could be historically accurate? Perhaps the most famous portion of the Book of Exodus is when Moses parts the Red Sea, allowing the Israelites to walk across the water before it comes crashing back down to drown the Pharaoh's army. There is no non-biblical evidence that such an event ever occurred. Indeed, the story sounds like the sort of thing that would have to be taken entirely on faith. However, recent research has discovered that such an event is actually scientifically possible. There are two key elements of the story that are extremely important, one of which is often overlooked. In movies like The Ten Commandments, Moses is always depicted as raising his arms and causing the sea to immediately part by the will of God. However, this isn't actually how it's described in the biblical text. The King James translation of Exodus 14:21 reads, "And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided." Across all translations, the important part of this passage does not change. The sea did not instantly part, but rather it was the result of a strong wind blowing for an entire night. The other key element of the story is the discrepancy in translations. While Moses is often cited as parting the Red Sea, the more accurate translation is believed to be the Sea of Reeds. This leads to some assumptions on behalf of researchers as to the exact topology of the area at the time and where the Sea of Reeds would have been, but they found a candidate. Just south of the Mediterranean Sea is Tanis, which it is believed would have met with the Nile Delta thousands of years ago when this event would have taken place. Lake Tanis was still an ideal place for wild reeds to grow, which lends some credence to the idea that this area could have been the Sea of Reeds. Whether this was the actual location of the story or not, the parting sea could have been the result of a wind setdown. This is a coastal phenomenon where extended periods of strong wind push the water back completely. It's not just a hypothetical scenario either, as it is something that has been seen fairly recently both at the Nile Delta and in Lake Erie. If the proposed location is correct, easterly winds exceeding 60 miles per hour for the entire night could have pushed back the water, creating a land bridge with water on either side. Computer models of exactly what this weather pattern would have done show that the Israelites would have had 4 or 5 hours to cross the land bridge of roughly 1.8 to 2.5 miles in length. Even with the terrain likely being muddy, that's an extremely reasonable pace. Once the wind stopped, the water would come crashing back and cover the newly created land bridge. Though this doesn't confirm the parting of the Sea of Reeds happening, it shows that it is absolutely possible that it could have happened, especially taking into account that the Bible specifically notes that it took an entire night for the water to recede rather than being nearly instantaneous. Even if this was a real historical event, the idea of the pharaoh's chariots being in hot pursuit and then being drowned by the waters, while very technically possible, would likely be a bit of an embellishment. It just goes to show that even stories that were largely dismissed as fiction could have a basis in historical fact.
nothingness of space. Somewhere far away in space and time. Staring upward at the gleaming stars in the obsidian sky. Or marooned on a small island in an endless sea. Confined to a tiny spit of sand. Unable to escape. But tonight, on this small planet, on Earth, we're gonna rock civilization. Somewhere out there in the vast nothingness of space. Somewhere out there in the vast nothingness of space.
Honey yellow, dripping gold, leaf of autumn in the cold, dancing on in crisp despair, whirling on enchanted air, falling to earth and tomb, away from trees rooted on. Perhaps the silence broken then by hollow cries of autumn green, synchronized with the fallen leaf. Honey yellow, dripping gold, silence broken then by hollow cries of autumn green.